Hello, Star Wars fans and collectors. It's me, JediMaster98, back again with another Star Wars live stream. In tonight's Star Wars live stream, we'll be going over Star Wars Conversations, Episode 18, The Mandalorian Season 2. As always, I'm joined by my friend from YouTube, Alonn, Oak99.
Reporting for duty.
So in tonight's live stream, like always, me and Alonn, we're going to go into detail about Star Wars content that we love and enjoy. But as I said, in the title suggests, it's Star Wars Conversations, Episode 18, The Mandalorian Season 2. And what I've done is I've watched The Mandalorian over the past few days. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about each episode individually, talk about the season finale and what we expect to pop up in Season 3 of The Mandalorian. Now, before we get to the live stream, I'm just going to read you a brief outcome on what the episodes and obviously the season mentions, and then we get into talking about the details of the series in a moment. So we're going to start off with this, obviously, The Mandalorian Season 2. The second season of the American television series The Mandalorian stars Pedro Pascal as the title character, a bounty hunter trying to return the child to his people, the Jedi. It's part of the Star Wars franchise set after the events of Return of the Jedi. The season was produced by Lucasfilm and obviously with Jon Favreau serving as showrunner. Development on the second season of Mandalorian began in July 2019, with Favreau looking to expand the scope of the series and introduce new characters, several characters from previous Star Wars media to appear in the season. Filming took place from October 2019 to March 2020, finishing days before the COVID-19 pandemic forced film and television productions to shut down. Post-production was completed remotely, including a recording of composer Ludwig Göransson's score. The 8-episode season premiered on the streaming service Disney Plus on October 30th, 2020. A third season has been announced. So that is just the brief outcome of the Mandalorian series. What else I've got? I've obviously got the episodes printed off from Wikipedia to obviously outline what we're going to be talking about. And as usual, I've got notes as well about the series as well. So in case some people do forget, we will let you know what is going on. Before we start, Alonn, first impressions of the Season 2 of The Mandalorian. What did you think of it?
Season 2 of Mandalorian was interesting. There were maybe one or two episodes that didn't really sit with me well. That I didn't find like too interesting. But at the end of the day, I really enjoyed the season as a whole. Each episode had something, had its own thing to offer, and yeah, overall great season. It has its flaws, but yeah, overall great season.
Yeah, same here. I can't complain. I can understand people's opinions when a couple of episodes released as filler episodes. Say, for instance, episode 10, The Passenger. They could argue that was a filler one, and other ones where you've obviously got Chapter 12, The Siege, where the Razor Crest returns to obviously Navarro and all that lot. So you can argue, people can argue that there is stuff like that, not to complain about, but to say. But overall, I think expectations were set high for Season 2, what we're going to see, what we're going to expect. And Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni and his team delivered. Obviously, I predicted in the Season 2 trailer reaction, stating that a familiar character from the Star Wars universe could appear in the episode or episodes. And funny enough, the last episode, it appeared right. So I can't complain with that. And Season 3, I'm looking forward to seeing where that takes us, whether we will see Grogu in action training with Luke, or whether we'll see Bo-Katan, Mandalorian and Boba Fett, or who else is going to be involved, eventually reclaim and take Mandalore. It's something to look forward to, really. And obviously, we've got something to look forward to towards the end of the year. That is the Book of Boba Fett, which was obviously announced in the season finale of The Mandalorian, coming to December 2021. So that's going to be an interesting with him and Fennec Shan. But other than that, season 2 hit expectations. Miles better than the first series. Don't get me wrong, the first series is great in general, but season 2, obviously from season 1 was there, and then season 2 was there. But other than that, I can't complain. Good character development, good stories, and plenty of action. So yeah, not disappointed there. Not disappointed there. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to briefly dive into each episode, talk about it briefly, and then we're going to run through it in minor details, talk about the episode, the character development, and what we overall thought about the episodes. So the first episode we're going to start of season 2 is chapter 9, The Marshal. So as you notice, when each episode is on, you see obviously the different chapters and everything. Some series they do, like say season 1, episode 2, whereas we were obviously brought right into the episode. Chapter 9, episode 9, we'll start from there. So chapter 9 is The Marshal. The Mandalorian has been tasked with returning his charge, a child, to its people, the Jedi. He begins searching for other Mandalorians who he believes can help him find the Jedi, and is directed to a rumored Mandalorian operating out of the Tatooine on Mos Pelgo. There he learns that there is no Mandalorian in Mos Pelgo, but is confronted by Marshal Cobb Vanth, who wears Mandalorian armor. Vanth explains that he freed his town from the control of the mining collective using this armor, which he bought from Jawas in the desert. The town is now frequently attacked by a Krayt dragon. Vanth agrees to give the Mandalorian armor back to its people in exchange for helping killing the Krayt dragon. The Mandalorian arranges an agreement between the villagers of Mos Pelgo and the local clan of Tusken Raiders to work together to kill the Krayt dragon in exchange for peace between the groups. They lure out the Krayt dragon, which is ultimately killed by the Mandalorian. He leaves with Vanth's armor, watched by a scarred Boba Fett, which was obviously the highlight of the that first episode of the new series. Alan, overall thoughts on that episode, and then we'll dive into it, talk about it even more. What did you think?
It was I really enjoyed the episode. It had it was very unique in as in like it gave us kind of a new perspective on Tatooine. We get to see places that we haven't seen before. We finally get to see what a Krayt dragon looks like in action, and yeah, we just get to see a new corner of a new a new area in Tatooine that we haven't seen before, and like a different, I guess, type of like it's not exactly the same as what we've seen before. We get we get to see also the Sand People in a different light, as we're used to from the other movies in the Skywalker saga, and I find that interesting. The music is absolutely brilliant, so beautiful. Cobb Vanth is an interesting character. I wish I wished that we could have seen him again, but it makes sense that we didn't, and that the armor returned to Boba Fett later on. But Cobb Vanth, Cobb Vanth was a great tag along character. Any scene with him, like he stole every scene that he was in. There was some funny moments, and yeah, the just the episode as a whole is great episode. It's the one and only episodes where we see the aspect ratio change in the episode. Like it starts like it for the grand majority of the episode. There will be like, you know, the letterbox. The aspect ratio would be like this, and then when the fighting, when they start fighting the freaking Krayt dragon towards the end, it just gets bigger and wider, like in an IMAX theater, and that was awesome to see. It was a cool transition right there, and the action was great. It was really incredible for a season premiere, the action they were able to show us in that episode.
And for it to be that good as well, diving in from a season finale before in season one.
What a way to
season
start.
2 was brilliant.
Yeah, what a way to start the season with a freaking 1 hour episode in Tatooine with a freaking Krayt dragon.
And especially with the opening scene as well, when he's in the bar and drags that person he's getting information from.
Yeah, I don't think the rest of the season can really. I don't think the rest of the season really lives up to the high that this season premiere gave us when it comes to that type of story, I guess, and the type of environment and the Krayt dragon. Like there's
so many. When I was watching it with my dad, me and my dad sat down to watch it. He likes Game of Thrones. There's so elements to being like one of Daenerys Targaryen's dragons, but it's just like she's just gonna say, like, you're just gonna see her in the background, like, unleash hell, unleash fire, and whoosh, obviously it spits out acid and other shit to destroy its enemies. But it was cool. It was cool.
It was, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. I've just seen a question from a friend of mine, Harry Ball, and he's mentioned about do you think that the guy, obviously Cobb Vanth, who had Bob Ozana, will return? I'm hoping he does. I think he's an interesting character, as you mentioned, Alan. And whether we're seeing him season 3 with any other development of his story, it's another thing. But if you can learn a bit more about him, there's a Star Wars book that released, Star Wars Aftermath, which obviously explains a brief part of his backstory. So that's pretty much it for Cobb Vanth. Hopefully we'll see him in season 3. You were saying, Evan, sorry. You were saying?
Yeah, I mean, I don't... I think when it comes to, like, to visual storytelling, at least, episode 1 was probably the best out of the season when it comes to visual storytelling. The rest of the season, that's a different thing. Like each episode is great in its own right, and like there's moments in other episodes that I do enjoy more, and that I find better than moments in the season premiere. There are there was a lot of action scenes that I found as enjoyable, if not more enjoyable than the action in the season premiere. But it's the season premiere just really, what a way to start the season. It was just incredible.
As you said, it was filled with action, funny moments we could relate back to the original trilogy, and obviously prequel trilogy, and it was just filled with like little Easter eggs. Was as Star Wars fans, you're sitting there, go, oh, that's that, this is it, that's that. Oh, I recognise from that. It's just little stuff like that, just reminisces you back to your childhood and different eras of Star Wars, which obviously with TV shows brings it to joy, really.
Yeah, I don't see us seeing Cobb Vanth again or returning to Tatooine anytime soon, at least in the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
We might get, yeah, we might see Cobb Vanth again in the Book of Boba Fett. I don't know.
I don't know. He's on
but
Tatooine. He's in Mos Pelgo somewhere, like popping to Jabba's palace.
yeah, but I don't think there's much more to really do with the character of Cobb Vanth now that he's given up his armor, like Boba Fett's armor.
Yeah, which
like
obviously was a great surprise for us Star Wars
yeah,
fans.
his story arc is pretty much complete. It was done in one episode. Like he had the armor, used it to protect the village or whatnot. The Mandalorian came in, they defeated the dragon. There's no more threats. Like they made peace with the Sand people and whatnot. Everyone's at peace, so like there's no need now to. There's nothing to do anymore, I guess. Like now you just live happily ever after.
And putting their feet up as well. Oh, look, there's a bit of meat. Oh, there's meat there. Oh, there's meat there. That's survived for us. So, yeah, that's just a brief outline on our opinions of episode 9, The Marshal. Obviously, as mentioned, and as Anna mentioned as well, great episode full of Easter eggs and everything. Obviously, the biggest part was obviously seeing a lone figure when his speeder was driving away, just see Boba Fett, and it was like, holy shit, it's Boba Fett and stuff like that, which is great. But yeah, it was a great episode. It had elements as well from westerns gone by, but it was a fantastic episode for obviously a season premiere of the new season to Mandalorian. And other than that, I can't complain. There's so much detail, which we're obviously going to go into a bit more when we're going to be talking about this episode, and then obviously other episodes when we get later on throughout the season. But yeah. Fantastic. I'm just going to obviously briefly outline the episode in detail, and then if we've got anything else to say, we'll say it. If not, we'll move on to the next one, Adam. So, as I said, we'll start off with episode 9. That is chapter 9, The Marshal. Obviously, the Mandalorian and the child are walking towards a particular part of town that is dark, and obviously we see dog-like looking animals with red eyes. The Mandalorian wants to see someone called Gorg Perez. He goes into a large room, and then we see 2 Gamorrean guards fighting. We see briefly Constable Zuvio from The Force Awakens, which made me laugh at him because he's a character that we got an action figure for in the Black series, and the 3 and 3/4 inch, get me words out, line of figures, and he never appeared in the episode, which was hilarious. And then we see him in the Mandalorian, which is funny. Sorry, couldn't get my words out there. Tongue tied, is it? Where was I? Obviously, Gorkret shoots the Mandalorian guard, and his men set up a trap for the Mandalorian. Obviously, the Mandalorian uses the whistling burrs and takes out the enemies, obviously throwing a couple of knives and everything. Baby Yoda hides in his pram, and obviously, as Mandalorian kills the other enemies in his path, he catches up to Gorkret and uses a rope to catch him and put him on the top of a street lamp. He gets the information from him and then eventually shoots the light bulb out of the light, and we see the animals with the red eyes ripping to shreds, apparently, because obviously you can hear screaming and everything, and the camera goes to dark. Obviously, he mentions as well that there's a Mandalorian on Tatooine. Obviously, the Mandalorian returns to Tatooine. Mandalorian is told to go to the particular part of Mos Pelgo, and we see a droid that we know from the original trilogy, which is R5. Obviously, R5 is the droid that Luke Skywalker wanted to have with C-3PO, but obviously he got a bad motivator, and a nice little tweak that I saw, and obviously you saw as well, and it was a little repair thing he had the top on his head. So that was a nice little bit there to see, like a bad motivate was eventually fixed. Mando makes his way to Mos Pelgo and talks to Sand people, which is cool with all the communication, some random bollocks I'm doing there. Mando returns to Tatooine. Bad motivator. Obviously, when he arrives, it's like something out of Clint Eastwood film. Obviously, he's going into town. Everyone's looking at him. You can obviously hear like his cowboy spurs on the back of his boots. Obviously, he walks into the bar. And then we're introduced to the Marshal, but obviously he's wearing Boba Fett's armor, which was a great surprise to many Star Wars fans. Obviously, Cobb Vanth, as me and Anna discussed briefly, obviously he's from the book Aftermath, which explains his backstory about him. The Mandalorian demands the armor, and the whole room starts to shake. Then we see what is known as the Crate Dragon. As I said, it reminds me of something out of Game of Thrones. It then eats a dewback and hides into the sand. Cobb Vanth makes a deal. They should kill obviously the creature, and obviously in exchange for the armor. They ride on a speeder, and Cobb Vanth's speeder, as we know, is part of Anakin's pod racer, which was a very nice touch that they used in there, which was
well, I don't
very
know. I don't know if it's.
But that's what people are saying. That's what people are saying, but
yeah,
I don't know if it is true.
I think it's a part of a pod speeder.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's really Anakin's, but I mean, it looks like it a bit.
It does look like it. I'll just put it down on my notes. Whether it's true or not, it's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, it would be cool. It would be cool if it was. Yeah, if it were.
It'd be very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
What's up, the Action Brick in the comments? Welcome to the stream.
Yo, that was just yo. Cobb then proceeds telling the Mandalorian what happened to the town after the second Death Star. Obviously, the mining collective eventually came into the bar and killed most of the people and used people as slaves. Cobb and Weequay escaped. Cobb escaped and then met up with some jars, and he noticed Boba Fett's armor and obviously bought it from them with a bit of items that he stole from the mining collective. He goes back to the town. Obviously, he fires his jetpack with obviously the rangefinder that he uses with the jetpack, and obviously, as we noticed with the jetpack, it was broken obviously in Return of Jedi, so it's a nice touch to see that the jetpack was repaired. And that scene where you see the jetpack firing at them villains, Alan, it did remind me something of Iron Man. Remember he fired the tank, you just see him turn around and him, which was pretty cool. That reminded me of the first Iron Man, which is very, very cool. As I said, it got damaged by Han Solo in the Jabba sail barge attack. They both then encounter the Sand People and want to make a deal with them. There is tension between Cobb Vanth and the Sand People, obviously what's happening in their village. Down there, they make their way back to the village, and then eventually they track down the creature to an abandoned Sarlacc pit, and apparently ate the Sarlacc, which is crazy. Which I can't imagine the Sarlacc being that enormous and everything. As I said, they then discuss a plan on how to kill the beast. Villagers don't agree with teaming up with Sand People, and things get better or worse. They arrive at the beast's home and set up a trap. They use the old medieval catapults to try and take it down. It fires poison liquid from its mouth and kills a couple of Sand People and escapes back into the sand. It then appears in a mountain and kills more fighters with its acid, and after Mando and Cobb Vanth go after it, Mando moves Cobb Vanth out of the way and uses the charges to kill the beast. The beast takes away Mando, obviously by swallowing him, but Mando is victorious and kills the beast by using the detonator. The villagers and the Sand People are free and use the meat for food and supplies. Cobb Vanth returns the armor, and the young Sand People obviously screams that he's found an egg, which is very happy there. Mando leaves Cobb Vanth and the villagers, and we see a man with a large rifle on his back. He turns around, and it's Boba Fett, and people at that time watching that episode will lose their shit. Excited that holy shit, Boba Fett is back, like I did. Fucking hell! I mean, I said it was Rex to you. I don't know why. I remember when I watched that episode, I said, "Is that Rex?" I'm thinking, "Am I just stupid?" And you say it's Boba Fett. I was like, "Oh yeah, of course."
It's more likely to be Boba Fett than
Rex.
Yeah.
They got the same face. Come on, they all look alike.
Yeah.
But no, freaking sick. Everyone, I guaranteed everyone lost their shit when it was Boba Fett, which was cool. That's the outline of the episode. Anything else to add on that, Adam, before I dive into comments and move on?
I think I've said my 2 cents on the episode earlier on. I don't really have anything to add. The comments, we got the Action Brick. He says it's Anakin's spot racer. Let's not kid ourselves. If you want it to be, yeah, sure.
Anakin built it custom, right? Yeah, he did. He did build it custom. He was hiding it from what's his face? The Toydarian,
Watto.
Watto. That's it. Watto. I know his little wings. Trooper Geo, it's your boy. Nice to see you, Trooper Geo. Action Brick also mentions my favourite episode was Chapter 10, The Passenger, which oddly enough was the least important episode in the whole series, which is obviously what we'll be getting onto next. So you've commented about the right time. Obviously, me and Alan have discussed that. We'll move on to episode 10, Alan. Episode 10, which is called The Passenger. The Mandalorian agrees to take a frog lady and her eggs from Tatooine to the industrial moon Trask, where her husband will fertilize the eggs in exchange for information on other Mandalorians. Due to the eggs' fragility, they must travel at slow sublight speeds on their journey. They are confronted by X-Wing fighters who force the Mandalorian to a nearby icy planet because he is wanted by the New Republic for his role in a prison break. He crash lands on the planet. While the Mandalorian fixes the ship, the child stumbles upon the numerous eggs inside the ice cave, which hatch to reveal a swarm of spider-like creatures. The Mandalorian, the child, and the passenger are trapped in the Razor Crest, the Mandalorian ship, until the X-Wing pilots find them and kill the creatures. They explain that because the Mandalorian helped apprehend his accomplices from the prison break, they will drop the arrest warrant and leave him with a warning. After the Mandalorian finished the repairs, the tattered Razor Crest takes off and resumes its journey to Trask. Yes, again, Alan, episode 10. You obviously mentioned at the start of the stream there were a few episodes that were a little bit filler and not your cup of tea. Would you class episode 10 being one, despite it being good in its own way?
Yes, precisely. Yeah. Again, I appreciate the originality of the episode from the from the story itself to the execution, to the creatures that we got to see, etc. It was a good episode of its own. It was just not my cup of tea.
I can understand.
It felt it didn't really live up to the hype that the first episode, like that the season premiere set the week prior.
Yeah, I did like episode 10. Obviously, the Action Brick mentioned in his comment that it was obviously a favourite of his. Like I said, it was a good episode. Obviously, like I said, some people can complain it was filler and everything, but nevertheless, it was a good episode. Obviously, we saw X-Wing pilots, which is obviously cool. Obviously, one of them being Dave Filoni, which is obviously good to see and everything. Obviously, first time seeing a frog lady in The Mandalorian and in Star Wars in general, which is very, very cool. And also in the episode as well, we did see Dr. Mandible, I think that's his name, which is a freaking ant. An ant in the Star Wars universe in the canteen. It's just, I wonder if he was being controlled by Hank Pym or Scott from Ant-Man. That big, and he's just controlling him in the corner, like, shh, I haven't seen this.
Maybe it's all connected to the MCU.
Who knows? But yeah, it's freaking cool. A frog and a freaking ant. Who could have thought that, eh? And he's going, talking like that, eh? An ant playing cards. Great. But no, the episode was it was all right. The episode, obviously, there was elements from other films as well. Obviously, when the child is going through the eggs, it's something out of Alien, where we see the aliens obviously get onto the ship and obviously engulf and obviously kill their people. So there was elements from different films and obviously different genres and everything. But it was a decent episode. You can argue it was filler, but nevertheless, it was an entertaining episode, and obviously it followed up with other episodes to look forward to there. I'm going to move on to the episode itself. So I'm going to briefly talk about that, and then we're going to cover a bit more. Obviously, Mando is on his speeder and gets hit by a wire, and he and the child fall off the speeder. He gets ambushed by pirates. The little character takes the child, and the character is similar to Tito which is the little character from The Force Awakens who obviously caught BB-8. He asks for his jetpack. Obviously, he's on his jetpack. The Mandalorian presses his little button on his wrist, and obviously the character goes up. You hear him scream, and then he just drops, and then obviously the jetpack returns. That was quite funny, bit of humour there. Obviously, the Mandalorian walks through the desert and makes his way back to Mos Eisley. We see, I don't know if you saw in the cantina, Alan, did you see a character from Rogue One in that episode? Because I spotted one. Do you remember the big character Morloth, who was in Rogue One when he was fighting on the planet Jeddah with Saw Gerrera? You know, that big looking like Wampa creature? You remember that in the bar?
Yeah, I remember that creature. I just don't remember him being in the episode.
Yeah, when he
You could be
walked
right,
into the
though.
bar. Yeah, when he walked into the bar with all the armor and the equipment, I noticed him, Morloth from Rogue One, which was cool.
Interesting.
And as I said, we also saw an ant. So as I said, who knows? Hank Pym or Scott or Hope from Ant-Man could be in the corner controlling him and everything. So that was cool. A freaking frog and an ant. Who would have expected it? An ant, which is cool. I think that's his name, Dr. Mandible. As I said, strange to see a frog and an ant in Star Wars universe, but who cares? It's Star Wars. She's mentioned, obviously, needs to travel with the eggs and obviously to locate his kind of people. Mando catches the child eating an egg, which was very hilarious. I mean, there's a lot of outrage on social media at the time of the episode being released where they were moaning about, oh, the child is eating eggs and everything. I mean, for God's sake, stop being a snowflake and just enjoy it. It's a bit of fun. Yes, it's bad he's eating eggs, but it's fun. The way he did it's like, it's fun. It's fun. If you want to moan about it, fuck off somewhere else if you can't fucking take humour in the Star Wars universe and everything. So yeah, that was just my opinion of it. If you're gonna moan, fuck off somewhere else. Where was I? Every time I go into one, I get lost and everything. Oh yeah, the Razor Crest is travelling sublight and then comes up against two X-wing pilots. Obviously, one of them being Dave Filoni. The ships are chasing each other, but the Razor Crest crash lands on the canyon. The crew trog lady spots the droid Mando killed, and she uses its vocabulary to communicate with Mando. Mando starts to repair his ship. The frog wanders off and gets into water with her young eggs. Baby Yoda tries to take an egg, but Mando said no. And then obviously eventually discovers larger eggs. And obviously in the snow, he opens them and eats what's inside. The eggs all start to hatch, and it's something like out of the film Alien, but they are spiders. And these spiders were used in concept design of The Empire Strikes Back. I don't know if you knew that, Alan, and everything. And also, it did remind me of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, where Ron and Harry obviously go into the forest, didn't it? And he's like, Ron's like, Harry, what? Fucking all the spiders. It always makes me laugh when old Ron Weasley shits himself with spiders and everything. It just reminded me of that, which was funny. Oh, Harry. If you like behind Mando. Mando uses grenades, obviously uses his pistol and flamethrower to slow the spiders down. The frog saves the child with her little pistol that she uses. The spiders then climb in and on top of the Razor Crest. A large spider jumps on top of the ship and tries to get into the cockpit. Gunfire is seen and heard, and it's the two X-wing pilots who help Mando. Mando finishes repairing his ship and makes way to find his fellow Mandalorians. Mando and the frog lady go to sleep, and the child quickly eats another egg, which is another final moment for that little character. So yeah, that's pretty much it for episode 10 of the Mandalorian. Before we move on to the comments, Alan, is there anything else to add, or should we check out what the comments are saying and move on to episode 11? Because we think we've pretty much covered most of it again. Alan, can you hear me? Dozing off? Oh, hang on. I can't seem to hear. Oh, Alan, can you hear me? Alan, can you hear me? Oh, I think we've had a bit of technical difficulties. I think your mic's on mute. Oh, no, hang on. Hang on, second here. What's going on? Hang on, what's going on there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. It wasn't me. We're okay.
Yeah, no, my computer is acting up sometimes. I'm so
Oh, is
sorry.
it? Okay. It's all right. It's all right. I thought I was being blank, thinking he's fucking blanking me. He's fucking blanking me. Why? So yeah, what was I say? Nothing else to add there, really. I mean, we discussed what we wanted to
No,
discuss.
yeah,
Is there
no,
anything else you'd like to
there's
add?
nothing. No, there's nothing for me to add, really.
Right,
It
cool.
was, yeah, that it was what it was.
Yeah, no problem. You can hear me now. That's fine. Before I
Brilliant.
move on, Omega Power DX is in the chat. So nice to see you, mate. I haven't spoken to you in a while. Glad that you're still going strong on YouTube. The next episode we're going to be talking about is episode 11 or chapter 11, the Hyrus. At Trask, the Frog Lady reunites with her husband and they direct the Mandalorian to a local inn where he can find information on other Mandalorians. A fisherman offers to take the Mandalorian to the others, but on board the fishing ship, he is ambushed. That's a bit wrong there. On the fishing ship, the Mandalorian is ambushed by the fishermen who want to sell his armor. The Mandalorian and the child are rescued by three Mandalorians led by Bo-Katan and Kryze. She enlists his help in seizing weapons from an Imperial freighter in exchange for information on the Jedi. After boarding the freighter, Bo-Katan reveals that their main objective is to capture the ship along with its weapons for their war effort to reconquer Mandalore. The Imperial captain is instructed by Moff Gideon to crash the ship, but his efforts are stopped by Bo-Katan, who questions the captain about the Darksaber. He kills himself. Bo-Katan directs the Mandalorian to meet the Jedi named Ahsoka Tano in the city of Caldem on the forest planet of Corvus. With the Razor Crest partly repaired, the Mandalorian and the child continue their journey. Right, Alan. Episode 12, The Hyrus. What did you think of that? And obviously, nice to see a familiar character from Rebels and the Clone Wars and other Mandalorians, which is always cool.
Yes, wow, that was it was incredible to finally see Bo-Katan in live action when she appeared, when she jumped in to rescue Din. I was,
especially in that circumstances as well.
Yeah, I was surprised, and it really like I was so hyped, you know. Yeah, I was in shock when I saw her just appear, and it was yeah, it was incredible to see her on screen like that. I think she was executed pretty well, even though it's just like, it's so strange, like it's so she's so different from what we used to see her. But again, like, you know, times change and people change with the time, and like, yeah, she seemed a bit more, I guess, I don't know, she seemed a bit more like commanding, I guess.
Yeah, like a bit more responsibility to her, because when we see in Clone Wars, she's sort of like a young woman who's sort of eager, but lost at the same time. And when we come to Rebels, she's sort of gone down a path she wants to lead, but not entirely
but
sure what to do. And then
we
later
also
on,
need
we
to
see her to
remember.
where she is.
Yeah, but we also need to remember that she did start off as an antagonist.
She did, yeah. She was, yeah.
Yeah.
She was obviously part of the Death Watch with Pre-Vizsla, obviously voiced by Jon Favreau, the creator of obviously the Mandalorian, which is cool.
Yeah.
Anything else to add apart from the other Mandalorians? Obviously, the characters that were introduced and the episode as a whole.
There was a bit of repetition in the episode when Mando's in trouble and the others, they come to rescue him. Like it happened once and it happened twice. It was a bit repetitive, and I mean, one might argue that it was like one time would have sufficed, but I mean, it didn't bother me too much.
No, it doesn't spoil the episode.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed. I enjoyed the break into I enjoyed the heist of the ship, the Imperial ship. And now we finally know why some Mandalorians take their helmets off as it's like just casually like that, and why he is not.
Also, we know from there he's part of the Watch, which is obviously part of the Mandalore.
Yeah, it's the remnants of the Death Watch, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it is. But overall, it was a great episode. As I said, it was lovely to see a character from obviously a beloved Star Wars TV show obviously come to life and everything. Obviously, a couple of other Mandalorians were very good as well. Nice to see their obviously input and everything. But yeah, it was plenty of action, plenty of willingness to get the job done, and obviously to hear that big reveal at the end that Ahsoka Tano lives, which is obviously a big thing on Star Wars minds with T-shirts and tweets and banners and everything. Obviously, eventually later on, we obviously get to see the beloved character from Clone Wars and Rebels, but to obviously hear the name and everything, which was really cool. And obviously, the overall episode as a whole was good. And obviously, it just goes to show the Empire, or remnants of the Empire, will do stuff at all costs, even if it is them killing themselves and crashing ship full of weapons. But overall, very good. And yeah, pleased to see a character from the Clone Wars and Rebels. Obviously, going to move on to the main episode itself. Obviously, quickly read my notes and everything, so we get a clear picture on obviously what we're talking about. Mando, Baby Yoda, and the Frog Lady arrive on the planet, but it is a rough landing. But the Razor Crest lands in the port. The Frog Lady eventually meets up with her husband. Obviously, the ship eventually crashes into the ocean. They obviously hug and see their little children and everything. We get to see some Mon Calamari and Quarren on this planet, which was obviously very good to see. Obviously, characters from the original trilogy, and obviously part of season 4 of the Clone Wars. Obviously, we see a small alien jump out at Baby Yoda's food, and it was obviously like another scene from Alien. Mando and the Quarren head out to sea, and they attack the Mando and try to hurt Baby Yoda. Mando tries to escape from the cage that is in the water, and other Mandalorians help Mando. We obviously recognise a Mandalorian, and we've seen in the Clone Wars and Rebels, Bo-Katan, obviously played by Katie Sackhoff. 2 other obviously Mandalorians appear. Mando is a child on the Watch. We see a great shootout with the Mandalorians leaving the ship, and a really nice sunset image when the ship eventually blows up. Mando's walking through the harbour, and Walker wants to fight Mando. We'll see the on the planet Trask. They want Mando to help take down an Imperial light freighter. The Mandalorians make their way onto the ship. They take out many troopers and work their way through the ship. They make their way to the middle of the part of the ship, the cargo bay. They trap a group of Stormtroopers and officers in the cargo control, and the troopers and officers are jettisoned out of the ship. Bo-Katan is eager to return of the Darksaber. The captain contacts Moff Gideon, who shoots both pilots and wants to take the ship down and destroy its weapons. Mando runs through the blaster fire and uses thermal detonators to take out the troopers and makes their way to the bridge. They stop the ship from falling into the sea, and the captain sacrifices himself and doesn't reveal the information Bo-Katan wants. She mentions, go to the planet, fourth planet of Corvus. There you'll find Ahsoka Tano. Mando escapes and returns. They get the child from the Frog family. Mando's ship is repaired, but there are fishnets obviously covering up the damage. And before he leaves the planet, another alien-like creature looks at Baby Yoda. Mando catches it. The child laughs and eventually eats the animal. And the Mandalorian and the child are on their way. That was episode 11. The Hyrus. We'll move on to the next episode, Adam, if you like. Anything else to add there? We'll move on to episode 12.
Next episode.
Episode 12, The Siege.
Indeed.
Just a quick drink. Chapter 12, The Siege. The Razor Crest requires further repairs before it can reach Corvus. So the Mandalorian and the child take a detour to the Navarro, where they are reunited with their allies Cara Dune and Greef Karga. While the Razor Crest is being repaired, the Mandalorian is shown how much things have improved on Navarro. Since he was last there, under the stewardship of Karga as magistrate and Dune as marshal, the last challenge that they are facing is a remaining Imperial base on the planet, and the Mandalorian agrees to help them destroy it. They discover the base is being used as a laboratory by Dr. Pershing to conduct experiments with the child's blood, which has a high M count. They destroy the base and escape, pursued by stormtroopers on speeder bikes. It should be scout troopers, not stormtroopers. See? So even correcting stuff like that. And TIE fighters. Dune and Karga manage to stop the speeder bikes while the Mandalorian destroys the TIE fighters with the repaired Razor Crest. The Mandalorian and the child leave for Corvus, unaware that an Imperial spy has planted a tracker on the Razor Crest for Moff Gideon. Alan, thoughts on episode 12, The Siege? What did you think of that episode, mate?
The Siege. That was... Oh, yeah. That was another...
That was the one where they worked their way through the base and they discovered like a laboratory. It looked like Supreme Leader Stoke.
Yeah, I remember. I remember, yeah. That episode was also a bit of filler for me.
Yep, that's fine by me. It's fine by me.
But yeah, it was still a fun episode nonetheless. It was fun to see Cara Dune and Greef Karga again. Although it's kind of confusing as in like how much time has passed since the season 1 finale for Greef Karga's appearance to change so drastically.
Probably the job he's doing.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a fun episode with some action. Though there was this one frame of the episode with the t-shirt guy in the background.
Yeah, and the watch like that. Yeah, I've written that down in my notes.
Yeah,
I can remember that episode. I can remember when that episode was released and the internet was going, it's the watch guy. It's the watch guy.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious, and like I was all for that guy staying in the episode. Like, I don't mind. Like,
I rewatched the episode.
I didn't even notice him. You know,
I rewatched the episode and I watched the part of it and I paused it and I went back. And you know when you click and pause it quickly like that to have a look, and as the frame's going like that, they're going to point the gun like. I just see the watch guy like that. And I'm thinking, get him in the episode with his gun and his little helmet. It'd be like Samuel Jackson. You know, he says, I'll be a stormtrooper. You can put the outfit on me. I can run across the street, shouting blaster sounds and everything. No one needs to know except me. I'm happy. Let me just do it. Get the watch guy involved. John Favreau, Dave Filoni, if you're listening, get the watch guy in.
They actually call him they actually call him Blue Jeans guy, I think.
Get Blue Jeans in the next episodes. Alan, tell them. George Lucas has got to do some explaining.
Yeah. Get some explaining to do, George Lucas.
Go on, Aaron. Alan, carry on. Tell him. Get him in it. Get Blue Jeans guy in it.
Yeah. You heard the man. Let's get him back.
Yeah. We heard the man. Anything else to say? Sorry.
Not really. No, it was just a fun filler episode, fun popcorn filler episode. You know, it's one of those episodes where it feels like you know, playing with your toys.
Yeah,
and it's just a fun episode.
Yeah, I really did enjoy it. Obviously there was a little bits I spotted watching it a second time round and everything. Little Easter eggs that they popped out here and there and everything. It was very interesting to see them tanks with them experimented. Experimented animals. Whether it was Snoke, I highly doubt it. But there was a lot of like raised eyebrows, weren't there? And considering that when we was looking at them tanks, it was just like, even back then, it was sort of like something Emperor Palpatine was planning. Because if you dive into the different parts of the Star Wars universe and knowledge of Star Wars, you know, from a particular game in Star Wars Battlefront 2, Palpatine was trying to orchestrate cloning himself. And obviously we know from the Rise of Skywalker, Adam, was Palpatine a clone in that one, if I remember?
Yeah.
Was he a clone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As we know from the Rise of Skywalker and everything. From towards the end of the war, and I think before the war, Palpatine was trying to element cloning. So if he was to get killed, he would have more and more of his beings take control and obviously try and rule the galaxy. But obviously it's good to see that there. And it's sort of like elements towards the sequel trilogy and episode 9, if you can see where I'm coming from there, Adam. But it was an interesting watch, and obviously to see back to tanks with creatures in there is interesting itself. But overall, it was a decent episode. You can understand, like what I said at the start of the stream, things being filler, but it got by. And obviously, what an episode to lead on to after, which we'll talk about momentarily. So I'll just quickly, briefly read and talk about the episode so it gives you a bigger picture. Obviously, Mando is in space and gets the child as well. They want their ship to be repaired, and he mentions about the red wire and the blue wire. Obviously, the child and the Mandalorian return to the Nevarro. That was quite cool to see a little bit of a comedy there. We're saying, I'll put the blue wire there, put the red one there, and obviously all smoke happens. We see animals that want to kill a small animal, and Cara Dune steps in and kills the animals where the armorer used to repair the Mandalorian's armor. She gathers up the goods and saves the creature that looks like a meerkat. We see our characters Cara Dune and Grief Karga, Mando and the child all together. Nevarro has changed for the good, and we see, I don't know if you saw it, Alan, did you see a little memorial of IG-11 where they were walking towards the school? Did you ever see that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you saw that. See, Alan's keeping an eye out. I spotted that the other day when watching that. Thought I had that in to obviously honour his sacrifice. The child is left in the school for safekeeping. Baby Yoda obviously likes to look at those green biscuits and uses the force to get them in each one, which is very cool. It's quite funny to see a little bit of a comedy there and everything, which was nice. Obviously, each one. We see a character who was frozen in carbonite in the first season and the first episode. I think his name is it Mithro? Cara Dune
Yes.
and Grief Karga have a plan to take down the old Imperial base. The gang park outside a door and plan to take down the old Imperial base. They park outside the door and work their way into the Imperial base. Mando throws a stormtrooper off the edge, and then they shut down security and work their way to the part of the base to destroy it. Mithro uses the control to destroy the base. We then see two Imperial scientists trying to destroy the evidence, and they eventually get shot by our heroes. Where was I? They eventually get destroyed. So I just lost my thought there. There we go. Yeah, they get shot by our heroes. As I mentioned, Alan, as you said, a blue jeans guy. Obviously, you see a crew member with his arm hanging out like that, which is obviously funny. Get him in the next episode. He's important. We also see large tanks, obviously filled with water and creatures inside. Obviously, it looks like Supreme Leader Snoke. It looks to be a cloning base. I could be wrong, but that's just my assumption, really. Mithro discovers a recording of the Doctor talking about cloning and how the child helps him with his M count. The Mandalorian leaves quickly, and the others make their way out in an old Imperial tank and escape inside it. Flying off the edge, they land on Mithro's speeder, and the Imperial scout troopers go after them. They get chased through the canyon. They kill all of the troopers and start to escape the base, but TIE fighters are on their tail. They lose the back part of the tank, but Mando flies in and saves the day. He takes down all the ships, and Baby Yoda is laughing and cheering. He throws up a bit, which is quite funny, just like an excited little kid. From the experience, obviously the Mandalorian cleans him. The X-Wing pilot interviews Kara, and Griff Karga about to destroy base, and tells Kara where was she from. Obviously, Alderaan. Obviously, she lost everyone. We see Moff Gideon's light cruiser, and then they mentioned that there is a tracking device been planted on the Razor Crest. We see Moff Gideon and the first glimpse of the Dark Troopers, which are very cool, that we'll talk about later on as well. But overall, a filler episode in people's eyes, but nevertheless an interesting episode. And before we move on, Anne, anything else to add before we move on to a very interesting episode next?
Yes, I wanted to talk about the cookies that that Baby Grogu was eating. It was when I saw those cookies, then there was I think someone on Discord maybe shared, or maybe I looked it up online. I don't remember, but I found a video of a video by Binging with Babish, and he showed how to make those cookies, and I was at home, but I unfortunately it didn't work. It didn't work at home. I might have not used a rich enough food coloring, and they just looked like regular cookies. They looked like what the cookies looked like in the concept art for the episode, more than how they turned out in the actual episode. But it was still an interesting experience in the kitchen, and unfortunately I didn't get to keep or eat much of those cookies, because like I only ate like one or two, and then like my mom was like, yeah, you throw those away, they're too rich with sugar and all that crap. With sugar and food coloring, you need to throw them away. Like there's no way you're eating that. It's poison for your body. So I ended up throwing out.
You'll be like Grogu. Yeah.
Yeah, it was too rich with food coloring and sugar, and so I ended up throwing them away, unfortunately. But yeah, hopefully someday I'll try again and succeed. It's really all about finding, I guess, the right amount
Mm.
And yeah, just practice.
Practice. Learn from Baby Yoda. Things don't go your way, and then use the Force. Grab them, eat them.
Exactly.
Right. So yeah, that is episode 12 or chapter 12, the siege. Before we move on, I've seen a comment from another friend of mine, George Bourne. He says Jedi Master 98 reeks of Star Wars knowledge. Yeah, I always do. We talk about it every day without fail. Knowledge is power. If you don't have the power, then you don't have the knowledge. There you go. Next episode, Alan, we're going to be talking about chapter 13, The Jedi, which was, I think, one of the most anticipated episodes of The Mandalorian so far. Obviously, for obvious reasons, seeing a familiar character from our beloved Clone Wars and Rebels TV show. Obviously, that being Ahsoka Tano, which was wow. I'm just going to read the overall outcome of the episode, and then we're going to dive into it because I know Alan's got a lot to say about one of his favourite characters in Ahsoka. The Mandalorian and the child arrive at the city of Caldon on the planet Corvus to find the population living in fear of the city's magistrate, Morgan Elspeth, and her guards, including a hired mercenary named Lang. Elspeth offers to give the Mandalorian a spear of pure Beskar steel in exchange for killing Ahsoka. The Mandalorian finds Ahsoka outside the town and presents the child to her. Using the Force, Ahsoka determines that the child's name is Grogu, and that he has begun Jedi training as a Jedi before the rise of the Empire. She agrees to continue his training if the Mandalorian helps defeat Elspeth. They overpower the guards, free the citizens, and the Mandalorian kills Lang. Ahsoka confronts Elspeth and demands to know the whereabouts of her master. Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn? Afterwards, Ahsoka refuses to train Grogu due to his close attachment to the Mandalorian. Instead, she directs them to an ancient temple on the planet Typhon, where Grogu can use the Force to find other Jedi and decide his own fate. She also gives him the Spear of Beskar to the Mandalorian. Right. So you know well, you're a fan of Ahsoka Tano. What did you think of her first ever live action debut of that character? What did you think of her?
Right. So overall, great episode. It's always a pleasure to see. Kind of. It's really fun. The mix, like the little mix of like a western and like a western samurai movie.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to have that aspect. And as far as Ahsoka's appearance goes, I think overall it was executed pretty well. Although I would have probably enjoyed it much more if in the beginning of the episode we didn't see her much. We would have if we had only seen glimpses of her in the beginning of the episode, and then in the middle when the Mandalorian goes looking for her, that's where we get that's where we would get the reveal. Because like I wish it would have just like they would have like set up her character like her appearance more. I like there was
reveal.
I just wish there was more anticipation in the episode for her appearance. Because she just appeared like it's casual, like hey, I'm here, I'm already a main character. Like it was supposed to be. I would have wished for more anticipation for such a big character.
Do you know what they should have done? Remember I showed you that video of the season finale where we hear Samuel Jackson's voice. I'm still alive. Do you know that one?
I don't remember, but yeah. Oh, I
You
think
don't,
yeah.
you
I don't
don't
remember.
remember?
No.
Oh, do you know what? Let me quickly get it up. It's the Mace Windu one I showed you. Do you know the season finale where it's Mace Windu? I'm still alive, motherfucker. You know that one? I'll get it up and play it quickly. Play it down the mic. Where is it? Where is that video? That is, it's funny. Oh, where is it? This one. I'll play it down the mic. Where are we? That one. She comes in. I'm still alive, motherfucker. It'll be like that. She comes in. I'm still alive, motherfucker.
Yeah, but yeah, like I was saying, yeah, it would have been more fun to have more anticipation in the beginning episode for
Yeah,
Ahsoka's appearance. But
but
still, overall, great episode.
yeah,
I did I do have something to say about Ahsoka.
yeah. Adam, feel free. You're more than welcome
It's
to. Feel free. Feel free.
so in the Clone Wars, whenever I watch the Clone Wars, it really it kind of bothers me whenever I hear Anakin's voice, because he sounds nothing like Hayden Christensen. And it bothers me, because for me, Anakin Skywalker is Hayden Christensen, and this guy
Yeah,
sounds nothing like Hayden Christensen.
yeah,
And yeah, and it for me, it's kind of like a continuity error. And so this is with Ahsoka here. It's kind of the same case, where I hear her voice, and I kind of wish I heard Ashley Eckstein's voice instead of what's her face's voice.
yeah. I mean, the actress who played Ahsoka is Rosario Dawson.
Yeah,
Who's
Rosario
obviously been in
Dawson.
other
Yeah,
stuff as well.
her voice. Yeah, but I still like Rosario Dawson. She embodied the character really well.
I thought she was brilliant, because the way I watched the
She,
episode, mate. Sorry to butt in, but she just,
yeah,
like, the way she spoke, and obviously her lightsaber movements. Like I said, she just had all the mannerisms, like the way she spoke.
mhm.
Yes, I know it's different from Ashley Eckstein, but the way she held the saber. I mean, she definitely did her homework about that character, but
Oh yeah,
just
definitely. And I,
her overall
yeah,
mannerisms was brilliant. And obviously hearing her theme as well, which was
yeah,
brilliant as well.
yeah, and I really appreciate appreciate what she did with the character. And like she did a
Mm.
great job. I just think when it comes to that I think there was a bit like at least for the choreography, when it comes to that, and also when it comes to appearance wise, I think it would have been it might have been more accurate to use the to cast the what's the word I'm looking for, the martial artist that helped with the motion capture for the Siege of Mandalore.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
When I did Ahsoka versus Maul.
Yeah.
I
Obviously, when
yeah
we had Ray Park in the other motion capture.
yeah she looks like Ahsoka, and she moves like Ahsoka, but at the same time I understand like that. I mean, she does look a bit young for Ahsoka at this time period in the timeline.
When you think of it, I'm not too sure. I mean, Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, is she like in her early 20s? Like when we
In the
see
Clone
it, and
Wars,
then
by Revenge of the Sith, she's like 17 or 18,
right, okay. And
something like that.
The Mandalorian is set about 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So it's about 20 odd years. So she's like in her late 30s, I think.
Yeah, late 30s, something like that.
Yeah.
40s maybe.
40s maybe, at a push, at a push. But please go on.
But
Aaron,
by
sorry,
the
go
time
on.
by the time of A New Hope, she's 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think of it, I think A New Hope, between A
30
New Hope and Return of the Jedi, I think it's about 5-6 years, if I remember correctly.
She's like 37, 38 by the time of A New Hope.
Mm.
So in
Yeah.
the events of The Mandalorian, she'd be maybe 45, 47-ish.
Ish, yeah, at a push, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, no, still, I really, yeah, no, I'm pretty hyped, pretty satisfied with what we got with Ahsoka and the Mandalorian, and I look forward to see more of her in her own spin-off show that's been announced.
Yeah, as well, and obviously we've got the Ahsoka Tano spin-off TV show as well, and we've got another show. Is it Guardians of the Republic? Another show. Is it Guardians of the Republic? I can't remember the name. Really, but it's something to do like
it's
Rangers
Rangers of the New Republic.
Rangers of the New Republic. So whether them two will collide and everything, and obviously the big reveal in that TV show was obviously Grand Admiral Thrawn. Like to hear that name as well. So whether we might see an appearance from Ezra Bridger or Thrawn, I mean, I've read somewhere ages ago, whether it's true or not, obviously Lars Mikkelsen, the brother of Mads Mikkelsen, whether he would portray Grand Admiral Thrawn as a live action character. But Alan, from a personal perspective, who could you see portray Thrawn if it was to be announced? I mean, I've seen images of Benedict Cumberbatch playing him, or obviously Lars Mikkelsen, or even Mads Mikkelsen, who obviously played Galen Erso in Rogue One. Who would be a perfect fit for you? I mean,
it's a great question.
Who would be one?
It's a great question.
Am I right saying that you've seen pictures of like Benedict Cumberbatch in blue?
Yeah. I've seen pictures of a lot of people as Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah. I even saw one of Tom Hiddleston, who obviously plays Loki, which was very interesting.
I mean, I don't know. I don't
whether it work. I don't know, but it's just
I think Tom Hiddleston would be too young for Grand Admiral Thrawn. Someone like Benedict Cumberbatch could work, but still physically, it's still I'm still not sold on the physical appearance. It's gotta be someone with like a commanding appearance and voice, like the guy, the guy who voiced the Grand Inquisitor in Rebels.
Oh, Jason Isaac, who was obviously in Harry Potter.
Yeah,
he played Lucius Malfoy.
Yeah,
Lucius Malfoy. Yeah, Jason Isaac. Yeah, Jason Isaac's a great antagonist character. I mean, we've seen him in Harry Potter, and we've seen him becoming a hero in other films. But yeah, he would be cool. He would be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's the only one I can really see embody the role.
Obviously, going on about it, Ezra Bridger. I know she mentioned Admiral Thrawn, but would we see a live action version of Ezra Bridger? I mean, who knows?
Probably.
They could cast you.
If you need anyone, Lucasfilm, I can make that character better.
Yeah. Alan as Ezra.
I can make it likable. I can make Ezra likable.
And as we said, and as you sent me the other day, Johnny Depp as Hondo Ohnaka. Please make that happen, Disney. He's perfect. Yes. Make a live action version of Hondo and let Johnny Depp play him. He would be brilliant. Where's all the rum? Where's all the rum gone? You don't drink rum, Hondo. Where's the rum gone? Anyway, we've spoken stuff there. Obviously, I've gone off a little bit of topic like I usually do, but it's Star Wars. It's fun. Um, I'll read you the full episode there, and then we'll discuss a little bit more, and then we'll move on to episode 14. So, episode 13, July. Opening scene, we see a dark planet and soldiers defending a castle. Troops fight in the forest, and Ahsoka Tano appears, taking down enemies using the Force and cutting them down one by one. The weather conditions are foggy, and it reminds me of the trenches from the First World War. Ahsoka approaches the gate. Ahsoka's theme plays, and we see a live-action version of her beloved character from the Clone Wars and Rebels, and more. Ahsoka disappears into the mist. The child is interested in a small ball that he wants to play and also use. He uses the Force to move it. Mando lands in the forest area, and it's a wasteland. Mando makes his way to the town and tries to speak to the local villagers, but they are afraid. Mando then walks to the palace that is similar to an Asian background, where it's obviously very peaceful and very modest in its own way. There is an arrangement to track down the Jedi and kill her, and if he is rewarded with his success, he will win a Beskar spear. Mando makes his way out of town and looks for the Jedi. Mando is searching for the Jedi when Ahsoka comes from behind to attack him. Mando mentions that Bo-Katan sent her, and she notices the child. And obviously Grogu look after each other and everything, but she can sense each other's motion, fear, and everything about them. The child makes sounds to communicate, and then we find out that his name is Grogu. He was raised at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. He was trained by many masters, and when the Galactic Empire rose to power, someone hid him inside the temple. His memory becomes dark, lost, and alone. And another creature like this is obviously being in Master Yoda, she mentions. The Force is what gives the Jedi its powers. It's created by all living things. Ahsoka picks up a small stone and passes it to Grogu. She wants him to return the stone to her and struggles. Ahsoka gives Mando the little stone, and she wants him to return the stone to her. And obviously Grogu, the stone, and passes it to Grogu. Sorry, I've lost my thread as usual. Ahsoka gets Mando to hold the stone and lift it. He struggles, but shows he's his favourite little item. He likes a small ball, and he eventually takes it. Ahsoka mentions she cannot train him, tells the Mandalorian his attachment leaves to invulnerable to his fears. And also Ahsoka mentions what these feelings have done to a fully trained Jedi, which is a very good thing to mention, obviously knowing that Anakin Skywalker had them same abilities and have fell to the dark side of the Force and eventually became Darth Vader. Mandalorian mentions he was sent to kill Ahsoka, and they go into the village and come up with a plan to attack the town and help escape the villagers. The person in charge is Morgan Elsbeth. Obviously, her people were killed during the Clone Wars, and she helped build the Imperial Starfleet. Ahsoka seeks close in to attack. Ahsoka climbs the wall and kills the troopers and destroys the gate's bell. She states Mando is dead and throws part of his Beskar armor to the floor. Where is your master? More fighting commences, and Mando kills the guards. Mando kills the guards, and one of the villagers helps the prisoners. Troopers are moving around the town and getting killed one by one. Two droids work their way on top of the roof to flush her out. Mando and the head of the soldiers face off like a Clint Eastwood film. They talk for a bit. Ahsoka makes her way into the palace, and her and Morgan Elsbeth fight, similar to Japanese fighting style. Ahsoka loses one of her sabers in the water. Mando shoots the head of the soldiers quickly by drawing his pistol. The man who helped the Mandalorian sees one of the droids, and he quickly shoots the droid and everything. Ahsoka asks, where is her master? Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn? Which is obviously the big reveal. The village is saved, and Ahsoka presents Mando with the spear of Beskar. Mando returns to the ship and sees Grogu sleeping. Ahsoka cannot train him. She mentions take him to the planet Typhon, an ancient ruins of the Jedi Temple, and see if other Jedi can sense him using the Force. They say goodbye, and Ahsoka claims theme plays in the background when she walks off, which was brilliant. It was a very, very good scene. Alan, I'd just like to mention, I did really enjoy the bit where she mentioned about the feelings of Jedi, and obviously she was explaining the obviously the downfall of Anakin Skywalker. So it's very good to see, even though after them years, Jedi who have close attachment with people, it can lead them to a different path, which was obviously very interesting to hear. And obviously another big reveal is Grogu trained on Coruscant. So I'd like to get your input. Who do you think hid him? Because there's been a lot of speculation. I don't know if you've seen, apparently, who hid Grogu during the downfall of the Jedi and the Temple. Who do you think hid him?
It's really it's really hard to know. It's really open for interpretation, because like there were a lot of Jedi in that temple that night.
Yeah.
And most of them were caught off guard. And didn't see the attack coming. I would assume like it might have been one of the younglings, maybe one of the masters that were there that night. Maybe it was maybe Shakti hit him, or I don't know. But there's a lot of theories out there. What I wanted to say, first of all, I thought I'm glad that we finally got a name reveal for Baby Grogu. And that
that's right.
I hope that people will learn to stop calling him Baby Yoda, because I mean, yeah, it also gets a bit of a mouthful to call him the child all the time.
Yeah. Well, it's the scene, isn't it? Okay, kid, hand me the stone in Ahsoka. It's like when Star Wars fans say it wrong.
Yeah.
Grogu.
But yeah, I'm glad that we finally got an official name for this little guy. And yeah, Grogu's a nice name.
Somewhere that apparently Grogu, his name was announced in season 1, so they had that name prepared in the season when it came out. So that's something good to know there, that they already planned his name in advance, and it was just finding a way to reveal it to the Star Wars fan base.
Yeah, and what else I was going to say is that it's interesting how we have two sides of the spectrum when it comes to training Jedi. There we have Ahsoka, who grew up in the Jedi Temple of Coruscant, and was trained by Jedi masters who really like go by this very specific code and specific set of rules about and restrictions about attachments and everything. And then you have Luke Skywalker, who grew up in a different time, and he did the exact contrary. He used his emotions and his attachments, and he was able, and it didn't lead him to the dark side. I mean, he didn't let these emotions it be his downfall. He used those emotions for his in his advantage. He wasn't afraid, and yeah. So we have one Jedi who thinks that emotion and attachments are dangerous for a Jedi.
Yeah.
And then there's another Jedi who started his training at a very old age, and was a bit arrogant and full of attachment and well, yeah, he had attachment and he had emotions and whatnot, but he didn't he didn't let himself get too carried away by them like Anakin did.
Yeah, he had it under control. Whereas you look at Anakin, he didn't help himself because obviously he lost his mother, and he was filled with such anger and hate and love for his friends that Palpatine took advantage of it. Because you see it, he's like, "Oh, I want to save Padme," and he's just like, "Oh yeah, go on, and I'll follow you. Yeah, never mind it." Whereas you see Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi, who physically gets his saber and goes, "Never. I'll never turn to the dark side. You failed, Your Highness. I'm a Jedi like my father." Like Palpatine can't understand that. Like it's just like Jedi not being selfish. That's like the morals of the Jedi code. Not being selfish, just helping others and sacrificing yourself and just being there for a purpose. That's what Palpatine can't understand. Luke's betrayal, especially in Episode 6, which is blinded. He literally goes, "Right, I'll throw my saber away. I'll lay down my life for anyone, whether it be for my sister, my best friends, my droids, my companions, my alliance, everything." He's just like, "No, sod it." And Palpatine can't get to grips that, oh, he has feelings. He's willing to lay down his life. Whereas the Sith like, "Oh, you must do this, you must do that." That's what Palpatine can't understand. Attachments and stuff like that. Whereas Luke's not afraid to show his feelings, whereas Palpatine wants to try and use them against him, but he's like, "No, I'm not going to let you do that." So he's building like a structure and a barrier to say, "You will not defeat me," which is marvelous, which is obviously a good example. And obviously, if you want to hear more about that, watch the behind the scenes of the Mandalorian, because it really discusses obviously what me and Alan were talking about, and gives you a whole new perspective on the meaning of obviously being a Jedi. Please, Alan, continue. I just wanted to put my little bit of output in there.
Yeah, no, I'm done. Like I don't have anything to add. There are some new comments in the chat.
Good.
If you want to check it out.
Yep. Volcanics Playground. He says, "Love seeing people's collections in the background." Thanks, mate. Oak's setup is pretty cool. He says, "Thank you. Very welcome." He's also mentioned, "Wondered why they only saved him and left the other younglings to die."
I don't think it was a decision.
I think it's an interesting question because obviously Adam mentioned that Shakti obviously supposed to be staged. Like I said, it's a speculation. We don't know if it's true. Obviously, there was Episode 3 is very interesting because I read somewhere that there was a director's cut of Revenge of the Sith. It was about 4 hours long. I don't know if you remember hearing anything about that, Adam. And obviously, Shakti, she had 2 planned deaths, didn't she? She got captured by Grievous.
Yeah.
And she was killed on his ship. Yeah. And there's a scene in Revenge of the Sith where Anakin is rampaging through the temple. Shakti is meditating, and Anakin just goes behind her and just stabs her with her saber because obviously he wanted to take out all the powerful Jedi in the temple first and then work his way around and obviously slaughter the younglings and everyone else as part of the temple. So who knows whether it was Shakti. I even read a theory somewhere that Mace Windu had something about it. I mean, I doubt he would because obviously
my theory is
he was told by Anakin that I think Palpatine's a Sith Lord, and they went off with Kit Fisto, Sons of Tin, and the other Jedi. I've forgotten his name. Is it Anglo Kolar? But who knows? Go on, Annie. What you gonna say?
Yeah, my theory is that whoever Grogu's master was, they were together in the temple training, and then when the master heard all the chaos going about, he just he just hid Grogu inside a vent or something.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
went to went to face Anakin and died.
Yeah, because there's another thing I've seen. I think it was Star Wars Theory mentioned it, and the lore master mentioned that there was a Jedi who apparently hid from the Jedi Purged, worked her way out of the temple, and I think eventually faced Darth Vader, sending a distress signal to say, "I'm one of the few Jedi's remaining. Come and fight me." And it was a very similar species to Master Plo Koon. I don't know if you've read somewhere about that, Alan. Have you seen it online about a Jedi? Yeah, there's
No.
a video online that I've seen ages ago of a Jedi who hid, I think, in one of the rooms or one of the compartments in the Jedi Temple from all the chaos that's happening. And I think she hid there for, I think, maybe a few days. And obviously, when Anakin eventually lost his left arm, both his legs, and eventually became Darth Vader, I think that was one of the responsibilities from Palpatine, saying there's a Jedi apparently that was hidden in the temple, and I think he gave him his lightsaber, or he reconstructed a new lightsaber, and said that your first task is to take out this Jedi and see if we can find any information to reveal if there's any Jedi younglings or Jedi within the galaxy. So that's an interesting thing there. But if you get the time to check it out if you're watching this stream and everything. So that's a very interesting thing. But going back to what you said, I mean, it must be a Jedi Master, because, like I said, with all the chaos and obviously the 501st troopers marching in and taking out and catching the Jedi's off guard. I mean, like I said, it could have been a completely different scenario if the Jedi were caught on guard, because they were probably mostly slaughtered most of the clones. And I think with Anakin in such a determined state, we don't really know. Excuse me. But no, it's a very interesting theory. Whether we get some light into the situation, hopefully the season progresses and more is explained. But it's a very interesting theory, and let us know in the comments if you have any theories and everything. And yeah, very, very interesting. Anything to say about the Jedi episode, Adam, or should we move on to episode 14?
Let's move on to episode 14.
We'll move on to episode 14. Right, the next episode is episode 14, or chapter 14, The Tragedy, which is obviously one of my favourite episodes from the Mandalorian series. That and the season finale. I really love the Tragedy. The Mandalorian takes Grogu to the ancient temple on Typhon and places him on the Seeing Stone at its centre. Grogu meditates and is surrounded by a protective energy field. Boba Fett soon arrives with his mercenary Fennec Shand, who the Mandalorian had previously left for dead on Tatooine. Fett explains the armor worn by Cobb Vanth belongs to him and his father, Jango, was the Mandalorian founding. The Mandalorian agrees to return the armor in exchange for the safety of Grogu. Just after Moff Gideon arrives and deploys stormtroopers, Fett, Fennec, and the Mandalorian repel the stormtroopers' attack, during which time Grogu finishes meditating and the energy field around him disappears. Gideon destroys the Razor Crest from the orbit before deploying his Dark Troopers, who succeed in capturing Grogu. To honor their deal, Fett and Fennec promise to help the Mandalorian get Grogu back. They travel in Fett's ship, Slave Run to Navarro, and ask for Dune's help in breaking criminal Migs Fayfield out of the New Republic prison. Now, episode 14, or chapter 14 of Tragedy, as I mentioned, it's one of my favourite episodes from the Mandalorian season so far, because obviously we knew Boba Fett was going to appear in the Mandalorian TV show, but obviously with the tragedy, the only thing I don't like about this episode is too short. It's about half an hour. I mean, the action was fantastic. Seeing Tamar Morrison reprise his role, obviously as an iconic character from the prequel trilogy, but the action was so fantastic and so on point. It was brilliant. There's so much action. There's so much things going on. Sorry, and it was a great episode. Obviously, the director was Robert Rodriguez, and I don't know if you've seen online, but he put up a Instagram post of Grogu listening to him playing his guitar, which was very cool. If you haven't seen that,
that's adorable.
If you haven't seen that, check that out. And if you haven't seen the behind the scenes of the Mandalorian, they were speaking to Robert Rodriguez, and he was speaking to Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. He said he had the idea for the episode because he saw his young son playing with Star Wars action figures in the garden, and he had a visual where he says, "Right, let's see if we can do something and try and do this." And Robert Rodriguez just had a vision where he had his own action figures. Boba Fett, Slave Runner, fighting stormtroopers, thinking, I wonder what that would be like if I can use it and put it on the big screen. And he was speaking to Jon Favreau and he's saying, you just come up with an assumption of playing with action figures, fighting like that, and then seeing it in the big screen. It's marvelous. It's great because that's what Star Wars is all about. Like you speak to all the directors in the Mandalorian, they're all Star Wars fans. It's great. They've grown up from the ages me and Alonn started watching Star Wars, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, 10 years plus. And it's just great when you hear stories like, I just had action figures, played with them, and now it's become an episode that people enjoy. It's truly great, and it's for me, it's what all Star Wars is about. I mean, like I said, I've got figures behind me. Alan's got figures behind him as well. It's just like grabbing figures, playing with them, doing that, playing out in the garden, playing out in the park, and just creating Star Wars and like lightsaber fights. It's great. It's what makes Star Wars, and for him to say that story was pretty cool. Obviously, that's my take on it. Alan, what did you think of the episode, mate?
Brilliant episode. I was actually surprised that we got to see Boba Fett again in the season. I for sure thought that shot of him turning around at the end of the season premiere was all we'll get to see in the entire season from Boba Fett. And that it's just there to like as like a fan service. See, we have Boba Fett here. He's still alive, and like you'll never see him again. But then then this episode happens, and like we see the Slave One freaking land on the planet. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, as soon as I saw Slave One, I was like, shit is about to go down. It's like, it's just like, holy shit, it's fucking Boba Fett.
I was like, holy shit, that's the Slave One. What the
yeah.
And okay, and then so yeah, and then everything that happened since it blew my mind. It just I loved
it was fantastic.
I loved every moment of that episode. I do I do have like one or two like nitpicks, like for example, why the hell did the Mandalorian not pick up his jetpack after he put it down?
Yeah, I was like, you've got a fucking jetpack.
Like, it would have helped the situation so much more if he just picked up his jetpack.
Yeah.
He could have gotten to Grogu so much quicker. He could have blasted those freaking. I mean, he could have tried and put up a fight with the Death Troopers, not Death Troopers, Dark Troopers.
They are freaking cool. They are freaking cool.
Yeah, he could have put up a fight, but like not like that was a bit of a stupid moment there.
You see him running up the hill.
Yeah.
Where's your fucking jetpack? Oh, it's down there.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah,
your other nitpick?
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty much my other my all the nitpicks I have about the episode. Rest in peace, the Razor Crest.
Oh, the Razor Crest. Oh, it's funny, isn't it? You think I was just thinking when the Razor Crest got blew up. I was just thinking, imagine if they just get HasLab to create it for the vintage collection, and then it's about to get made. It just goes.
Yeah, dude, like
thinking,
all the people.
Oh no, we've paid all that money and the Razor Crest is exploding.
All the people. Yeah, imagine all the people that bought the Lego Razor Crest set.
Oh, I have the Razor Crest. No, you don't want any more. And it'd be like that scene. Can you remember that video of Harrison Ford where he was given the Millennium Falcon in Lego, and Harrison Ford goes, my hand slipped and I dropped it.
Yeah, that was hilarious when it happened.
But it was a fantastic episode, and obviously just to hear and see, I think I'm pronouncing his name right, Tamara Morrison.
Yeah,
as Boba Fett, like it's Django. And when he said the line, "I want my armor back. I'm just a simple man trying to." I love that line. I'm a simple man trying to find my way in the universe. I love that line from Attack of the Clones, and to hear it in the Mandalorian, I was like,
he actually said it. He actually said it differently in the Mandalorian episode, which I find a bit of unfortunate. But
yeah,
it's like
I think I've written it down somewhere. I'm a simple man trying to make my way in the universe. That's the thing I've put, but he said it as another.
Yeah, he said just a simple man trying to make my way through the galaxy.
Yeah.
And it's not the same.
No,
yeah, it's not the same, unfortunately. The line from Attack of the Clones is way better, but it's still a nice little wink, you know.
Yeah.
But hey, don't ever let Harrison Ford hold a Lego set.
Well, as viewers, obviously watching.
He's a treasure, but don't ever let him hold a Lego set.
As I was saying, obviously, as viewers can see behind Alan, he has a lot of obviously Lego stuff, and obviously where the laptop is facing to where he is there's loads and loads of Legos. So you can imagine if Harrison Ford, oh no, I've dropped it. Oh fuck, it's broken. Oh my bad.
Jesus Christ.
But who cares? We'd love you, Harrison Ford. Don't worry, we'd love you, Harrison Ford. But no, fantastic episode. Even when Boba Fett was in his armor, obviously, he like I say, he's looking a bit porky. He's got the old belly and everything, but he's still fucking cool. I mean,
and then we find out
fucking cool. Boba Fett. Like, it's Boba Fett, for fuck's sake. I mean, I've got the prototype helmet down there, and most likely I'm going to invest in the Mandalorian helmet. He's such a cool character, and obviously such a fitting tribute to a beloved Star Wars actor who passed away recently in Jeremy Bulloch just before Christmas. So even with watching that episode again, it is a lovely tribute to him. Rest in peace, Jeremy, there as well.
Yeah, and then we find out that Boba Fett and Jango Fett were actually legitimate Mandalorians. I mean, they were. Jango Fett was a foundling.
He was a foundling,
Grew up. I think he grew up on Concord Dawn, which is the Mandalorian moon.
That's right. Yeah.
And then then you have Boba Fett, who is, I mean, he's not. He is his clone, but also his son. And so he like took he was given the armor, he inherited the armor, and so that makes him also a Mandalorian, although in like a couple episodes later, he said, I never said I was Mandalorian. What are you talking about?" But yeah. That there goes. That now we have an answer to the question of whether or not Boba Fett and Jango Fett are legitimate Mandalorians.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously said it. He said, "Look at this. 25 years. Me and my father, Django." It's brilliant. It's brilliant. That's just a few squiggles, but it's just like, it's such important shit. We love it. We love it.
Yeah.
But to see Tamar Morrison come back as well, obviously with his action. I mean, the action that he used for Bubba, it was obviously something to do from obviously the culture he's from as well, which was freaking cool as well. I mean, there's one scene where he whacked that stormtrooper, and literally half of his helmet is literally just completely fucked, which is so cool.
Yeah, we have a comment from Volcanic Playground where he says where he says the Mandalorian could have used his remote control on his wristband to get his jetpack, and that's also a great point. Yeah, why the hell didn't he do that?
Yeah, that is a marvelous point. Yeah. He's also mentioned as well when we was talking about Grogu. He's mentioned that it'd be cool if Jocasta Nu saved him. She survived Order 66. I thought she got killed because there was a video game, a Revenge of the Sith video game where Anakin killed her. Apparently, I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't think it's canon because later on,
it's not canon.
Nowadays, like there are comic books with her in it that are canon.
Right. Okay, yeah. Mate. Cool. He mentioned she survived Order 66 and had had all the younglings info in holocron. He said, agreed, it was amazing. Obviously, you mentioned about the jetpack. But yeah, like I said, it could be canon and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. They also mentioned they got the Phase 3 Dark Trooper from Build the Droid series years ago. They bought 2 Razor Crests from HasLab.
Jabba Salvage blew up too, and HasLab made that. It's too iconic. LOL.
Yeah, that's true. Well said. True, yeah.
Well said.
The Death Star blew up, and that's still iconic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's iconic. I really hope the Vintage Collection and the Black Series obviously make Dark Troopers. That would be pretty cool. Make more, obviously, figures from the Mandalorian, and also make more figures from the Clone Wars as well and other areas of Star Wars. But them Dark Troopers, they are really, really cool. So we've spoken about chapter 14, the tragedy. I'm going to dive into the episode briefly again, and then we'll talk about any other things that come up. If not, I'll just quickly, briefly talk about this briefly. Getting the few bits of paper mixed up. Right, here we go. Episode 14. Mando and Grogu arrive on the planet Typhon. Mando asks for the ball, and Grogu uses the Force to catch it. Mando lands the ship and uses his jetpack and flies to the Seeing Stone with Grogu. Mando put Grogu on the Seeing Stone, and he uses the Force to connect with other Jedi. Mando then sees a ship that entered the atmosphere, and it's Slave One. Grogu goes into a trance. Mando meets with the hooded figure, but we guess and we basically know it's Boba Fett. He has been tracking him. He is after his armor. I'm a simple man trying to make my way in the universe. Obviously, that's an iconic thing that Django says. We then see Fennec Shan, who survived. Obviously, Boba Fett saved her by putting a metal apparatus, obviously metal appliances in her stomach, which is very cool. He said he wants his armor. It belonged to my father, Django. Then an Imperial arsenal arrives with stormtroopers making their way out of the ship. They start shooting them, and action is great, especially with Boba Fett smacking them with his sand people look-alike weapon. Obviously, one of the stormtroopers' helmets is half gone. We see a new water stormtrooper in yellow with a large gun, which is very, very cool. Very cool to see there. Fennec Shan pushes a large rock down the hill and takes out stormtroopers and the main gunner, Boba Fett, and the main gunner. Boba Fett discovers Mando's ship, and more troopers arrive. Mando tries to reach Grogu, but the force field protects him. Then Fennec Shan and Mando help each other. They are outnumbered, and Boba Fett helps them, but with his armor on, and he looks really, really cool, and obviously tears the place apart. The stormtroopers retreat, and Boba takes both ships down with his rocket, and obviously uses his target finder as well, which is really, really cool. Then all of a sudden, we see a large red laser blaster bolt fall from the sky and destroys the Razor Crest. Grogu's asleep, and the Dark Troopers engage, and they take Grogu to their ship. Slave One follows, but doesn't engage. They're back. He says, "Who's this? The Empire." The ship eventually escapes in hyperspace. The only things remaining in Mando's ship is the little ball that Grogu plays with and the Beskar spear. Boba shows Mando his chain code for 25 years. His father was a founder and fought in the Mandalorian Civil War. For the return of his armor, they will help rescue the child. Mando returns to Navarre and tells Cara Dune what happens, and they go through the prisoner register, ex-Imperial sharpshooter Mayfield from Season 1. He needs to find Moff Gideon, and Cara Dune is under new orders about when she knows he has the child, obviously Grogu. Things change quickly. Moff Gideon walks to the prison cell where Grogu is being kept, and he's using the Force on the Stormtroopers, but makes him tired. He shows him the Darksabers, and the Stormtroopers stun poor little Grogu. That was another thing I really enjoyed. You see Grogu at the end, he's just using the Force, and he's just like so concentrated, and he's pushing the Stormtroopers away. And obviously, as he states, Moff Gideon, he discovers that Grogu is a little bit weak from obviously using the Force and everything, but nevertheless, it's a cool episode. Did that make you laugh at the end, Alan? You see little Grogu pushing them Stormtroopers.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
epic.
But it just, like I said, just goes to show his training's still a long way off. Like, you can use the Force, but like I said, it makes him sleepy, which is a shame. But we like Grogu and everything. Anything else to add on Chapter 14, The Tragedy, Alan? Anything else to add?
Nope.
Nope. So yeah, we pretty much covered Chapter 14, The Tragedy. Before I move on, I'm just going to check the comments, and then we'll move on to Chapter 15, The Believer.
Yes, sir.
Trooper Geo has commented, Commander Fox did nothing wrong. Justice for Fox, and Volcanic Playground wrote LOL, laughing at, yeah, justice for Fox. Even if he did kill Fives, justice for Fox. Eh? You're one of your own brothers. You're bloody mental, mate. As I said, let's get my paper. The next episode we're going to take a look at is Chapter 15, The Believer. June uses her new credentials as Marshal of the New Republic to transfer Mayfield, an ex-Imperial sharpshooter from prison, to her custody. He agrees to help locate Moff Gideon's cruiser, but needs access to an internal terminal. He suggests a secret Imperial mining hub on Morak. There, Mayfield and the Mandalorian hijack a transport carrying explosive mineral rhydonium, and they manage to reach the mining facility despite attacks from local pirates. They get Gideon's coordinates from the terminal, but the Mandalorian is forced to remove his helmet in front of others for the first time since he took the Mandalorian oath. The pair are confronted by Mayfield's old Imperial commanding officer, who Mayfield kills when he gloats about what happened and what the Empire committed by the Operation Cinder. Mayfield and the Mandalorian escape with the help of Fennec, June, and Fett. June decides to let Mayfield go. The Mandalorian sends Gideon a transmission warning that he's coming for Grogu, paraphrasing a similar speech that Gideon had previously given in the last two episodes of Mandalorian Season 1. Alan, opinions on Chapter 15, The Believer. What did you think of that episode, mate?
It was a fun episode. It was interesting to see the Mandalorian a bit out of his element.
Yeah,
and out of his armor. Yeah.
Very strange. It's just like Mayfield's reaction. Oh, the shame. The shame. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the first time we kind of get to see the Empire in a different light as well.
Very interesting.
When they're when the Mandalorian and Mayfeld, they're being chased by pirates, and then
Yeah.
the TIE wings come to the rescue, and there's like this epic heroic music of, hey, we just came to save the day.
Yeah, it's kind of
And
like you're sitting there as a fan, you're going, I'm actually backing the Empire. Like as a kid, the Empire villains. But that said, it's like when you watch The Dark Knight, you appreciate Heath Ledger's Joker. You become to love the villain. It's just like, oh, the villains, they're cool. Look at that, they're cool. They saved the day.
and then when they enter the base and they're all cheering, hey, yeah, you survived and all that. It was interesting to see the Empire in that light.
Yeah, it is very interesting.
Shortly before being reminded that they're a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I enjoy like speeder chases and all of that. And that one and that one was executed pretty well. I like the stakes of the episode. I like the story itself, the mission that they were on, and a lot of brilliant character moments, especially for Mandalorian and Mayfeld, as the episode seems to focus focus on them mainly. Yeah, and it was interesting that that Mayfeld got somewhat of a redemption arc. I thought, if anything, it would have been more of a liability, but I was proven wrong.
Yeah, you can understand why they've done it. You can understand because obviously he's an ex-Imperial sharpshooter.
Yeah,
you'd obviously know what did the Mandalorian say? He'd know his like ranks and phrases and stuff like that to use. It's like, oh yeah, he's a TK something, but we call him Brown Eyes. It's like that. Hello, I'm Brown Eyes. I know nothing about the Empire, but fuck it, I'm here.
Yeah.
It's a fun episode.
It was a fun episode, yeah.
I really did like that Imperial officer as well. What's your name? Oh, he's a bit deaf. Oh, yeah, Brown Eyes. Yeah, Brown Eyes. Yeah. Very cool. I especially like that cantina scene. Like, say everything's fine, and it's just like bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, and the guy who played that officer in the Imperial base is the same guy who played Joe Chill in Batman Begins.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
And he also appeared in Game of Thrones as the Night King in season 5, I believe. Yeah, right before being recast.
Very interesting. Very good knowledge there, Alan. Very good knowledge. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Did not know that, but thanks for sharing that. But yeah, I love the episode. As Adam mentioned, the Mandalorian went in his own shadow of his normal self. Obviously, he takes off the armor, and obviously he may feel the shame, and he's obviously doing stuff to protect something he obviously doesn't agree with. But obviously, they need to get the information as quick as it can to save Grogu. But it's a good episode, and it's like I said, good to see the Empire in a different state than we usually are, because we're used to seeing the Empire, they're high-ranking officers, they invade planets, do this, do that, and it's a state where they are in a state of shock, but there's just them little bits there gives them a glimpse of hope. And the shootout in the canteen or the mess hall was pretty cool, and I did really feel for that stormtrooper. Did you see that stormtrooper where they were shooting? He's got his dinner, and he's just like, I've got my dinner here, and it's just
yeah.
It's just like, oh, is this a bad time, guys? Hello, I'm back to eat.
I hear from a lot of people. I hear from a lot of people that that scene reminded them of Inglourious Bastards, I believe.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. No,
Mm-hmm.
no, it was a great scene, and so you see Cara Dune and
Yeah, I have yet to
Fennec
see.
Young.
I have yet to watch Inglourious Bastards. I'm afraid, but
You've never seen it.
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Oh, it is a great film by Quentin Tarantino. Fantastic. Like, I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
see all these other iconic films that Quentin's done, but yeah, Inglourious Bastards. It's really cool. It's a brilliant film. It's like I said, it's like it's like your typical Tarantino film. It's brilliant, really good.
Awesome.
But highly recommended, sir. If you get the time, give it a watch and we'll discuss about it further. What we're going to do is, same again, we're going to talk about the episode briefly if you don't know it fully, and then we'll get on to your comments and then move on to the season finale, which is going to be very interesting to talk about. I'm really looking forward to seeing Adam's reaction and opinion. Opening scene of the episode, we see the prisoners working on an old Imperial TIE fighters that have been destroyed, and we see Mayfield, Cara Dune release Mayfield from his job. We see Boba Fett with very nice, fresh, clean armor. Mando appears from Slave One and obviously takes off, and we see how the ship works inside, which is very cool, little perks and details. Morak is mentioned, a secret mining facility, obviously Rhydonia, high explosive. Cara Dune takes out 2 drivers in a large Imperial tank, and we see Mando in Imperial armor. Cara Dune takes his suit, and Mayfield and Mando make their way to the compound. Mayfield jokes with Mando about his armor and how things have changed. The Empire and the New Republic are different, but people see it the same. You either rule by someone or they're ruling you. A couple of tanks explode, and we see pirates attacking the tank. Really cool action from Mando using thermal detonators and weapons. The pirates try to blow the Rhydonia. Mando throws a grenade. They get killed. More of them show up, and then we see TIE fighters help them by shooting them. Pirates arrive near the gate, and the troopers shoot them. Troopers, officers, and other members of the Empire are saluting and are happy for Mando and Mayfield. They arrive at the compound. Mando and Mayfield need to find a terminal. Then Mayfield recognizes an officer he served with. In order to access the terminal, he needs to scan Mando's face. But as we know, he's only taken off his helmet once for IG-11 in season 1 finale. Obviously, he does the facial scan with the helmet on. It mentions facial scan error. Mando obviously removes his helmet, and obviously we see the actor underneath. That is Pedro Pascal. He obviously his facial scan is complete, and he gets the information he needs. Then the officer calls him, and then obviously Mayfield mentions his name is Brown Eyes. He's a little bit deaf. They talk to the officer, and he wants them to have a drink. They toast the Operation Cinder, a massacre for the locals that the Empire caused. Mayfield mentions he lost his whole division, Heroes of the Empire. Mayfield then gets his pistol and shoots the officer in the chest. Then the shootout in the mess hall happens. Mayfield mentions he didn't see his face. Mando obviously puts the mask back on, or helmet. They eventually escape through the window, making their way onto the roof. Slave One approaches, and Mando and Mayfield jump onto the ship. Mando asks for the rifle, and the place goes up with a bang. TIE fighters follow Slave One, and then we see the seismic charge sound, which is very cool for any Star Wars fan. I know Star Wars fans absolutely love the sound of a seismic charge. Mayfield has thanked for his services and given the green light to escape. They mention that he died in an explosion. Mayfield goes off his way. Mando sends Moff Gideon a message saying he will recover the child. He means more to me than you'll ever know. So yeah, that's just a brief outline there. And then I think you can agree with me. The seismic charge sounds very cool. Everyone loves the sound of a seismic charge. It's like a depth charge that they used in the Second World War. It's just like, it's so cool. I love it.
Yeah,
Brilliant. Such a cool sound. People get so excited for a bang.
I remember the first few times I watched Attack of the Clones. and there was the scene with the seismic charge. I was like,
when
wait,
he's chasing Obi-Wan through the asteroid field.
yeah, I was a bit confused as to the delay in sound. Like I was like, wait, is this scene out of sync? Or
Yeah, it's like I said,
then
it's like a depth charge that they used in the
yeah,
the war in the Atlantic, where the British and the Germans are fighting, and they had these depth charges where they would fire it up, it would go down into water, and when it exploded, it would create like a ripple effect, and it would just make the ship unstable, whether it be a ship or submarine, and then it just explode.
yeah. So then
It's that volatile, it's that lethal.
yeah, so then I learned about how some stuff that there's the speed of light, speed of sound, and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and how some bombs or some like fire weapons you you see the thing first and then the sound. It's kind of like lightning and thunder, where you see the lightning first and then you hear the thunder a bit later. Yeah.
It's like when a bullet's fired, like the bullet's fired, the bullet obviously fires, it can hit someone, and all of a sudden you hear the sound of the gun being shot. It's like, and then because it travels so fast, like you think you've ducked for cover, but you get hit, and all of a sudden you hear. It's just that quick. It's quite remarkable how speed and obviously light work, but it's pretty impressive and everything. And obviously, as I said, it's similar to a depth charge that we know from obviously previous wars. Before we move on to the season finale, chapter 16, The Rescue, let's quickly check the comment section to see what's happening there. See if there's any comments happening. Where are we?
It was such a it was such a powerful moment in the episode where where the Mandalorian removes his helmet for the face scan.
It's huge for him.
Yeah, it was such a powerful moment, and it's kind of unfortunate that that in the next episode, when he removes his helmet, it's not as impactful, but it does have its own impact. But I'll mention that later on as we talk about the episode.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. But it was still a very powerful moment in the episode when he removed his helmet out of desperation.
Big time.
And it shows the lengths he would go to save Grogu. It shows his attachment to him. And
without a doubt.
Yeah. And it's just very powerful. So we got some comments, I see.
Yeah, we've got some comments here. Trooper J mentions Cara Dune is dummy. THIC thick. Oh, thick.
Dummy thick.
Dummy thick.
as if to say she's hot.
Yeah, I know. Look at his next comment. Oh, fucking hell. Bet you any money in season 3, Cara Dune and Mando are going to smash. Well, maybe in your eyes, mate, you dirty fucker.
They're going to shag.
Yeah, when did they have time to
shag?
Yeah, Volcanic Playground says Shockwave, so I presume it's obviously either talking about Cara Dune and Mando, or obviously the.
Imagine there's a time jump. There's time jump. They have a child, and we were like, when did I have time to shag?
Oh, I can remember when we did that Rebel stream, and I just came out of that. And now it's become an iconic thing.
When did they have time to shag?
When did they have time to shag? It's just like, holy shit, man. Yeah. Fast speeds, many years in the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So next up is the last episode, which is chapter 16, The Rescue.
You need to make that a t-shirt. You need to make you need to make a when did the halftime the Shaq t-shirt.
Yeah, and do the video and go.
Yes.
It'd be like WWE. It'd be like when Batista's doing that. Remember Batista from WWE? He's doing that going. So yeah, t-shirt ideas, t-shirts. Please let us know. So yeah, the last episode, chapter 16, The Rescue. I'm going to briefly read the intro and obviously description of the episode, and then we'll talk about it for a bit. I'll read the other bit of the notes I've taken, and then we'll talk about the other bit, because this is such obviously an important episode for our heroes and obviously for our characters as well. So chapter 16, season finale of season 2 of The Mandalorian, The Rescue. The Mandalorian and June aboard an Imperial shuttle and captured Dr. Pershing. They enlist the help of Bo-Katan and Kosk Reeves to rescue Grogu. In return, Bo-Katan gets Gideon's cruiser and the Darksaber. And the Mandalorian considers helping them liberate Mandalore. They use the shuttle to get close enough to crash land on Gideon's cruiser, with Fett pretending to attack them in Slave One. Bo-Katan, Kosk, Fennec, and June fight through stormtroopers to the cruiser's bridge. Meanwhile, the Mandalorian finds the Dark Troopers, barely defeats one of them with his Beskar spear, and ejects the rest of the troops into space. He fights Gideon with the spear and overpowers the Moth, making him the new rightful owner of the Darksaber. The Dark Troopers fly onto the ship, but are all destroyed by Luke Skywalker, a Jedi that Grogu contacted on Typhon. The Mandalorian gives Grogu permission to go with Skywalker and R2-D2 to complete his training. Later, Fett and Fennec travel to Jabba's palace on Tatooine, where Fett kills Bib Fortuna and claims the throne. Right. Season 2 finale, Alan. Please, what did you think? I fucking loved it. It was such a fitful end for the series. Go, Alan. What did you think, mate? Go.
Epic episode. I really have no complaints. I mean, yeah, no, actually, I take it back. I do have a complaint about the face.
I'll cover his ear. Do you know? When I first saw it, I thought, yeah, but yeah, go on. I'll cover his ears. Grogu, don't watch. Go on and go, please. I can understand where you're coming from there. I can understand. Please.
The special effects on Luke Skywalker were kind of terrible. I mean, they definitely had room for improvement. And like it seemed a little off, but I was still very hyped when that moment happened. But yeah, other than that, it's such a small thing when you look at the big picture, and the big picture is that the episode is really such a great episode. It was so cool to finally see first of all, the interaction between Bo-Katan and Boba Fett was interesting. Then we have the heist, the infiltration into Gideon's ship. We get to see. You finally get to see the Dark Trooper in actual action in a fight scene. We see what they're made of, what they're worth in battle. We see what the Dark Troopers are worth in battle, and damn, you know, they're OP, man. They're made out of very powerful material. They seem to be more dangerous, more precise than your average stormtrooper. They're hard to kill.
Yeah, Dr. Pershing mentioned because originally Dark Troopers used to be humans in it, but they slowly created them to be droids,
Hmm.
which is wow, really cool.
Yeah, yeah, and so yeah, that was epic to see them in action. Um, you got the little dialogue between Din Djarin uh, and Moff Gideon, where you think they might have found a compromise, but then Gideon turns on the
Mm.
dark saber and
I,
they
I,
fight.
it, yeah, it seemed too obvious to me when I
Yeah,
saw him say it first time. Thinking, no, I don't see it. If you're just wanting for his blood, you would have killed him then and then to enrage the Mandalorian. And as soon as he turned his back, thought he's going to turn him. And obviously, we saw that fight, which was very cool.
yeah. And so that fight was really well executed and very fun to watch. It was. I will admit that the way Moff Gideon was disarmed was a bit weird,
Hmm.
as in like it just felt like, hey, I don't know where he like 1 second he's holding the dark saber, and then the next second it's on the ground. Like it didn't it seemed a little weird, but overall it was epic that it happened.
Hmm.
And the way Mando pointed the spear at him at the end of it, and then the final, then the confrontation with Bo-Katan, uh, and the tension and everything, right to the point where the the dark troopers come back and try to breach the freaking
The blast
uh,
doors.
the no they try to breach the what do you call it, not the cockpit but the bridge of the
The
ship.
bridge, yeah, yeah. They
Yeah,
obviously had the blast doors
yeah.
in front. Yeah.
And then you see, and then when I saw that X-wing for the first time, I was like, is this another one of those pilots?
Yeah.
And 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 then and then when you realize that it's
Excuse
Luke
me.
Skywalker.
I knew for a fact that when that X-wing landed and saw that hood, and I thought it can't be. And then as you said, the soundtrack for that particular scene was
Oh
brilliant.
yeah,
Like,
the music was so
yeah,
beautiful.
to have the score of the original trilogy and another version of it mixed in was brilliant. Really good. Really good. Go
Beautiful
on,
music.
please go
Yeah,
on. Go on. What you're saying
yeah.
about the skull returning.
And yeah, it was and then we get to see Luke Skywalker in the Mandalorian, and that's such a big thing,
Mm.
because like the show started off as something that's something of its own, something that is outside of everything that we know and love, and then
Mm.
and then in this season you see you see all those characters coming coming from other media of Star Wars, and how they interact with the new characters that we were introduced in the Mandalorian. So it's so interesting, and it's pretty, yeah, it's pretty epic to see that happen. um and yeah, seeing Luke Skywalker interact with all those characters.
Mm.
I mean, he really interacted with just the Mandalorian and the child. Um, But yeah, it was a great scene despite the room for improvement in the special effects department. And I love it. I love it when he said, "Talent without training is nothing." How it just how he just like really how just to say that, you know, the fans are right, and you know, that you can't just you can't just freaking use the force and be all powerful out of nowhere. You know, you can't. A character like Rey is nothing, pretty much.
Yeah, you can understand the tension and stuff like that when they mention about it. Yeah. You told me to mention something about this episode. Was it the Dark Troopers that he was on about? You said there was something. You said there was something to talk about in the season finale. I'm trying to think. Was it the Dark Troopers or was it Luke Skywalker?
It was actually the removal of Mando's helmet.
Right, go on, please go on.
Yeah,
what was you going to say about that? Sorry, that's it. Sorry.
Yeah, I love that moment when he removes his helmet. There is there's a bit less of an impact in that moment.
Yeah, it's not like he's moved his helmet. It's like, oh, he's seeing him for the first time. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have as much impact as it would have had if he didn't remove his helmet all season. Because like he just removed his helmet in the previous episode, but it was still a very beautiful and still very powerful and impactful moment when he did that, because it mirrors the final moment between Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, where Darth Vader wants to look on Luke with his own eyes.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the same thing. He wants Grogu to see his face before they say their final goodbye. So it was a beautiful moment there. Yeah,
fantastic. Yeah, and obviously the music as well captured it as well. And it's just the last shot when you hear the music going up, and he just looks at him, and Mando's like he's getting a bit choked up, and then Maluka like, well, so probably see you soon, and then the elevator closes and it goes to black and ends. It was fantastic. But yeah, my point in it is it was a fantastic episode. I can see the argument with CGI, because when I first saw it, I was just sitting upstairs. I had everything prepared. I had my drink with me. I had my popcorn, and then as soon as I see the X-wing, I'm sort of thinking, an X-wing? It can't be. Like, who has an X-wing? Who comes solo? And then when you see the hood and then the saber, I'm thinking, oh, it can't be. Do you know, you see all the reactions online when they showed them? And I remember watching the reaction after that show of First Order Transmission. Shout out to them, Corey and his team. And they did a great reaction. And obviously to see their reaction was great. It was just like, there's Luke Skywalker, yes. And you see him cutting them down and everything. And you see the green saber. As soon as I saw the glove, I was sitting there thinking, if I'm watching this with somebody who is a Star Wars fan, thinking, I wonder who that can be. I'm like, oh, it's Luke. Yes, it's Luke. And then the music gets better and better. He's taking them all out, using the Force. And I'm like, it's fucking Luke Skywalker. Yes. And then obviously goes in the elevator, goes up, and then you'll sort of see that scene as well. It's foreshadowing his father, Anakin Skywalker. Remember in Rogue One where he's going through the part of the ship, and it goes to black, and then and you see Darth Vader cutting down all the rebels. Remember that? Anime?
That was an epic moment. Such an epic moment.
Yeah, it foreshadowed his father's role in Rogue One, and obviously it mirrored it. Yeah, sorry, I should say. And you see him cutting down using Force, and then you see something that they've used in the comics and the books and legends and canon to see Force Crush as well. Like very few if I can remember from my knowledge of Star Wars, very few Jedi can obviously use Force Crush, and for Luke to see it, to see the droid literally disintegrate when he's doing that was like, wow, like this is some powerful Jedi. Considering obviously Luke is just as powerful as Anakin, Yoda, Mace Windu, and then obviously to see him walk through the blast doors, put his saber away, and obviously reveal his face and say, "Oh, it's Mark Hamill." But when I first saw it, and I can understand where you're coming from, it's like, "Oh shit, it's a younger Luke." But I'm like looking, and you look thinking, "Is he all right?" Like you look to think, you can tell it's CGI. Like you could, like I said, you can argue it's awful, it should have been done better, but it's just like you're so excited in the moment. Oh, it's fucking Luke Skywalker, it's fucking Luke Skywalker. And then, like you said, you zoom in and go, "Is he all right?" Like you look at the face, thinking it's like it's definitely CGI. You can see it's all done by all the special effects team. It's like it could have been done better, but fuck it, it's fucking Luke Skywalker. It's so cool. He's got the child. He's got
really the only thing that was off-putting was the mouth.
Yeah, I thought the mouth, like the hair, like even like the little obviously the moles, and obviously all the hair complexion and the outfit as well. Like I said, the mouth was just like was that
yeah.
It's kind of like you watch an old film and the mouth doesn't go with the words. It's just like made a false movie. It's like it's like that, but nevertheless, it's Luke Skywalker. He's rescued the little fellow Grogu. It was so cool. I mean, I loved it, but it's just, I mean, I watched the episode today before obviously coming on air with you, and obviously talking about the Mandalorian. But it's just that last episode in that moment. It's so cool, and like I said, to see fans' reactions of obviously Luke Skywalker, and everyone's like, "Holy shit, he's young," and it's just that's what makes Star Wars. It is, like I said, it's the reaction of people. It's the joy of bringing people together for one thing we love, and they hit it on the nail on the head. And I'm very pleased to say that it's great. And like I said, fingers crossed, season 3 when that gets underway will be good. And like I said, before we end the stream, me and Anna will talk about what to expect on season 3. But overall, a great episode. And it was fantastic. Like I said, it's filled with emotion, love, passion, and the overall joy of being a Star Wars fan, which is family and friendship in my eyes. It was brilliant. Like I said, I mean, shout out to who's the composer? Is it Ludwig Göransson? I think that's how you pronounce his name. Fantastic score. And I've downloaded some of the music on Spotify as well, especially that last scene. And it's fantastic. I can't say anything better. And then, like I said, fingers crossed, hopefully in season 3, we will see this little fella again. I'm sure we will. And best of luck to him with his big ears and stuff. But yeah, fantastic. Really, really enjoyed the season finale. What we'll do is I'll go on to obviously describing about it again, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more, and then we'll read some more of your comments and predictions for season 3 as well. So episode 16, season finale, Slave 1 and the Imperial Shuttle are in action. Slave 1 is chasing the shuttle. Slave 1 fires an iron cannon to disable the ship. Mando and Cara move into the cockpit to get to Dr. Pershing. And the pilot mentions Alderaan and the Death Star. Cara shoots the pilot, and the other pilot obviously got shot earlier on by trying to persuade him to get out of trouble. Slave 1 arrives on the planet. We see the Mandalorian ship. Obviously, Boba and Mando walk into the bar. We see Bo-Katan and her friend. Boba and the other Mandalorian in the bar obviously get into a scruffle and decide to help Mando and obviously get off Gideon and his dark saber. Dr. Pershing mentions the Dark Troopers are what they're up against, and they are held in cold storage. They set up a plan to get to the bridge of the ship. They exit hyperspace and make their way into Gideon's ship. They eventually make an emergency docking and make their way through the hangar, killing troopers in their way. Boba Fett escapes. The Dark Troopers start to activate. Mando slips through to make his way to Grogu. The girls take out more troops, move into the bridge at a quick pace. Cara Dune gets gun jammed, and the Dark Troopers are on the move. Mando shuts the door, but one of them gets free and fights him. The Dark Troopers are like Frankenstein's monsters. They're just there and lethal. Mando gets a beating, but he kills it with his Beskar spear, obviously by aiming for the neck and the head, and eventually the neck goes off. He sends the troopers into space. Cara Dune goes mad with a large rifle and kills more troopers. Gideon is not on the bridge. Mando kills 2 troopers and opens the prison door and finds Gideon with the Darksaber near Grogu. He mentions Bo-Katan is after the Darksaber. It brings power, and Mando just wants the kid. Gideon just wanted to study his blood. Gideon tells Mando to take the kid, but Gideon goes against his word. They fight on the ship, and it's a cool fight. Mando defeats Gideon. He yields. He then brings him to the bridge where the others are. Gideon uses words to change things, but Bo-Katan can't take the saber. It must be won in battle. Then the alarm sounds. The Dark Troopers have returned to combat. They are being boarded. The Dark Troopers start to make their way to the bridge. Gideon discovers a pistol and hides it. Mando puts the kids down and they prepare to hold their ground. The Dark Troopers try getting through the blast doors. Then the alarms go off again, and we hear and see an X-Wing. Grogu's ears pop up and senses something. The X-Wing lands and the droids start making damage. And we see nothing on the camera. Then all of a sudden, someone appears in a dark robe. The Jedi, Bo-Katan says. And you see Gideon's face. And the picture of Gideon's face was obviously he's shitting himself. He knows it's a Jedi, which was hilarious. Really well acted there. Multiple Dark Troopers make their way to the bridge. Gideon gets up and he shoots his pistol at Bo-Katan, aims for Grogu, but Mando jumps in the way and Cara Dune knocks him out. Grogu goes to the camera and looks and sees a Jedi. Then he gets into an elevator, destroys more troopers using the Force. And it was like a scene from Rogue One, obviously, where Vader's killing the rebels. The blast doors are open. He puts his saber away, and the hood is taken down. And it is Luke Skywalker. Obviously, the Luke Skywalker is obviously voiced by Mark Hamill, but also they've used obviously a younger actor and obviously face technology to sort stuff out. As I said, the music is great. He tells Grogu to come with him. Grogu wants Mando's permission. He needs to master his ability. Mando takes off his helmet and shows his face. Grogu puts his hand on his face, which is a lovely, lovely moment. He says, "Don't be afraid." He puts him down, and by his leg, he doesn't want to go. We see R2-D2 appear. Grogu looks at R2-D2 to see who he is, and it looks like he's got the impression that he has seen him before. That's just my opinion, whether I'm right or wrong. Luke eventually picks him up. Luke looks at him and says, "May the Force be with you." Mando is sad. Grogu looks at him one final time. They get in the elevator door with Luke, Grogu, and R2 with a lovely bit of music, and the season finale ends, which was an absolutely lovely moment for Star Wars fans, and it was really, really nice to see, especially with the music, which was lovely to witness and watch. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the Mandalorian season finale. There's a couple more things I just want to briefly talk about in the season finale. I just thought of something whilst reading my notes, and I'm just trying to think. Do you know where I mentioned Alan Bo-Katan can't take the Darksaber? Can you remember from Rebels where Sabine gives Bo-Katan the Darksaber? Sabine Wren, she won it in combat, didn't she? She defeated Garth Saxon, and she took the saber then, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. But wonder why she didn't take it then. Obviously, he says it's got to be won in combat, but she took the saber from Sabine years prior. I mean, what's your thought on that? Let's just think about. What do you think of that?
Well, it's interesting because when the season finale came out, the week following that, I rewatched those moments from Rebels, and it seemed they didn't seem to acknowledge that rule, and instead, like the reason Bo-Katan accepted the Darksaber from Sabine was because everyone else kind of they seem to worship her and want her to lead them and wield the saber. They chose her to be their leader, and so that's why she took that's why she agreed to take the saber from Sabine's hands, even though it was rightfully hers. And I mean, Sabine, I mean, you'd think that she has the right to name a successor if she doesn't want to rule Mandalore and lead the Mandalorians. But I do agree that I guess it does. I see why I see the confusion and why people.
You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah,
I just thought of it because obviously I've seen the episodes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's my 2 cents on the issue.
Yeah, that's right. That's all right. I'll just quickly write a few things down, like questions to say at the end. I just thought stuff off the top of my head in case I forget. Obviously the season finale. Obviously, if you stayed to the very end and watched it, I didn't first time around. I was only told by a few friends of mine to quickly go back and watch the end credits. And in the end credits of the season finale, we see Jabba's palace, and we see Bib Fortuna, obviously a character from episode 1, Phantom Menace, and obviously from episode 6. We see him really fat now, and I read somewhere that the more fat they are, the more wealthy they are. And we see him, obviously, in Jabba's spot. We see gunshots being fired, and we see Fennec Shah and Boba Fett shooting the Gamorrean guards. Bib Fortuna is happy to see Boba Fett. Fett shoots him, moves his body, and takes the throne. And at the end, we see the book of Boba Fett, which is coming out in December of 2021. One thing I did notice as well, Alan, Matthew Wood, who is the voice of the battle droids, General Grievous, and someone responsible for Sounds, reprised his role as Bib Fortuna because he actually played him in The Phantom Menace, where we see Jabba announcing the pod race. So that's very cool to see that. But yeah, old Bib Fortuna, he's a fat old fucker, isn't he? He was a fat bastard, wasn't he?
Yeah, honestly, I was kind of shocked that he survived the sail barge because he was on the sail barge.
Yeah, I thought
he was on the sail barge in Return of the Jedi when it exploded and everything. So how did he survive?
Whether he quickly went into a speeder, who knows? I mean, I'm sure there's a comic or a backstory somewhere there. It's like
they probably just
or they just quickly writing
him back. They just got him back for like comedic purposes, I guess, and like kind of like how in every episode of South Park, Kenny dies and comes back.
Yeah. Oh my God! They killed Kenny! You bastards! Oh my God! They killed Bill Fortuna. Oh yeah, he was a fat bastard. But no, that was very good. But obviously, the big announcement coming from that, the book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
What do you think that's going to be like, Alan? I'm really. That's going to be an interesting one. The book of Boba Fett.
Yeah,
coming to December 2021.
Yeah, I really look forward to see more Boba Fett and more action from Boba Fett.
A simple man trying to make his way in the universe.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing what it has excuse me, I'm looking forward to seeing what that has to show. I think with the Book of Boba Fett coming out in December 2021, whether the Mandalorian season 3 will be released there, it wouldn't surprise me if the Mandalorian season 3 will be released early 2022. It wouldn't surprise me. Maybe early 22, maybe about March, April of 2022, season 3 of the Mandalorian. So yeah, we've spoken about the season finale of the Mandalorian season 2. I just want to quickly read the comments, and I'm just going to quickly ask you a few questions about what to expect. Any new comments? Volcanic Playgrounds mentioned he's better when he wears the armor, or she will break him. That comment that we've discussed earlier on. There's a couple of questions I just want to quickly run by everyone in the chat and Alan and myself while I'm here. Predictions for season 3. What do we think? There's a couple of things I just want to quickly say before I get Alan's input and anyone in the chat. There's a couple of things I've written down myself. Possibly seeing Grogu train as a Jedi and him meeting up with the Din Djarin. Will there be a bit where we see Bo-Katan and Mando team up and take in Mandalore, or will we see elements of the First Order and Resistance? That's just something I've just put in place and just speculated. Adam, as I said, predictions for season 3. What do you think could happen?
Yeah, I think your predictions are valid, and I mean, I would love to just ground have season 3 be more grounded than it was than season 2 was, as in try and not have try to reduce the familiar faces appearing and focus on trying to get like the main just focus on the main character and the main and the main story without too much sidetracking.
Yeah.
I would love to like have season 3 be more about Din Djarin and his and like now and what he needs, what his path looks like now that that he fulfilled this task to bring Grogu to one of his kind. There's definitely we'll finally see like what we'll see the aftermath of those events and how like the aftermath of how he changed due to his misadventures with little baby Grogu. And now there's the whole Mandalore arc with Bo-Katan and that tension where is he gonna become the leader of Mandalore now, or is there going to be what's gonna happen now with there's got to be something about Mandalore in season 3. Yeah, just really dig into what it's like. I mean, what it is to be a Mandalorian and how Din Djarin's life gonna be from now on. Like, is he gonna be more like are we going to see his face more? Did he Did he change? Did he change his ways? Did he find a new way? It's, did something? Yeah, just did he change his way? What is he gonna do now with? Now that he has this burden on him of the Darksaber and the leadership of Mandalore, him being the rightful ruler and whatnot, what's he gonna do about it? So I really want to just focus on Din Djarin.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Well, see, the other characters are fine, but I think Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni know that it is the Mandalorian, like, his story and stuff. So I totally agree there. Yeah, I did read somewhere when they were. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I did read somewhere that they want to possibly either try and link it to the events of The Force Awakens. Maybe we get, say, maybe a few more series or something towards the end where it's sort of right about the time where the First Order have rose to power and the Resistance are sort of controlling the galaxy, but the New Republic is there and then. But I don't know, we'll wait and see. Like I said, I'm sure there'll be many discussions about where to lead Mandalore in season 3. As I said, predictions of mine, will we see elements of the First Order and the Resistance? Will we see arc of Mandalorian teaming up with Bo-Katan and going to Mandalore, or whether will we see Grogu again briefly, where Master Luke Skywalker says, "I'll quickly visit him, then be on your way." It's just, who knows? We'll that's sort of wait and see. But it's definitely an interesting arc to obviously look upon due to being successful. Obviously, the first 2 series of the live action Star Wars TV show has been a success, and with all the talk in the past of the sequel trilogy being a mixture of good and bad with Star Wars fans, I feel like The Mandalorian has sort of bridged the gap with Star Wars fans, because I know people have been disappointed with the sequel trilogy. I mean, personally, I don't mind the sequel trilogy. Yes, it has its moments where it has been good and it has been awful, but it's still a franchise, whereas The Mandalorian sort of brings the nostalgia of old Star Wars fans coming together and new Star Wars fans for this. But no, it's going to be an interesting one. Like I said, the Book of Boba Fett, that's going to be an interesting one, but I'm sure things will be fine. It's Star Wars. They've got very talented writers and directors and actors out there who are willing to bring their cards to the table to say, well, we know the expectations to please fans. Obviously, Marvel do it, and obviously Star Wars do it. Let's just go that step further and just keep bringing joy to families around the galaxy, really. So, other than that, bring on season 3 whenever that will come out, whether it be the end of this year or early 2022. I'm just happy to say that I was there to watch The Mandalorian. But yeah, if you've got any predictions, please let myself or Anna know in the comments. We're going to talk a little bit more and then we'll eventually go off air and everything. Trooper Geo's mentioned Clone Wars fans, I think he says stands, but I presume he meant fans, are complaining we got Bubba instead of Rex, so I imagine Rex will show up. It's a possibility, who knows? There was talk about Rex showing up before season 2 aired. Who knows? Like I said, season 3's got a lot to offer. As Annan said, it's going to be something to look upon, where season 1 was sort of like not playing it safe, but it was the ground runner. Season 2, the expectations are high. It's got to do this. So season 3 could either be even higher. Where will they go from there? But I've got no doubts that The Mandalorian will be successful. It is successful, regardless of season 3 being made and everything. But fantastic TV show. Actors are really cool, and yeah, best of luck to Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, because you've got 2 talented people who know and love Star Wars, and yeah, frankly, they should be running Star Wars and doing stuff for the foreseeable future. But fingers crossed we get new figures as well. I mean, I want more vintage collection figures. Obviously, the vintage collection has been very hot and cold since its re-release, but the Black Series has been doing extremely well, don't get me wrong. But fingers crossed, more figures for the Black Series and Vintage collection. Obviously, we've been announced more figures are coming out from Return of the Jedi and a few from Clone Wars, but fingers crossed we get more from Mandalorian. I mean, I've got some Mandalorian figures over there reviewed. I've got some more coming on the way, hopefully, pre-ordered, so bring it on. But more merchandise, more cool stuff, and yeah, a great experience for Star Wars fans, really. Have you got anything? Have you got anything else to add, Adam, about the Mandalorian or stuff in general with your channel or stuff like that, and your Star Wars collection?
You know, I just massive thank you to Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau for making such a great show. They really changed the game and made something incredible together.
Oh,
and
fantastic.
I think
such a pair.
Yeah, they're such a pair. They need to be more involved in Star Wars and Lucasfilm in general. They need to be on every Star Wars movie or show set that is happening.
Without a doubt. And one thing I'd just like to mention that I've just remembered briefly, watching behind the scenes of The Mandalorian Season 2. I don't know if you've watched it. Have you seen it?
I have, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Seeing George Lucas's face light up when we saw a live action version of Ahsoka Tano, same with Dave Filoni. It's just like, we've designed this and we're seeing it in the flesh, and it's truly remarkable. I mean, even seeing clips of George Lucas on the set where he's holding Grogu and stuff like that, it's just, he must be so proud, considering that even though he is the father, he is the master. I mean, Dave Filoni's the apprentice, he is the master. And to come back and see Star Wars still being successful with technology and character development changing over years, but just to see a live action character be made from a cartoon must be truly breathtaking. It's wonderful. It must be such a good thrill for George Lucas and Dave Filoni. But yeah, hats off to George Lucas as usual. Hats off to Dave Filoni, and hats off to Jon Favreau for making it successful and enjoyable, really. But yeah, like we said, mate, fantastic. They should be really pleased and looked upon for future Star Wars stuff, really.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. Other than that, Mandalorian is great. How's things with your collection wise and stuff in general, Adam? How's things going?
My collection is doing all right. The last additions that were made to the collection happened like a few months ago. I think it was September maybe, where I got I got Count Dooku and Kate Skywalker in action figures. I added them to the 3 3/4 inch collection. What else? That's yeah. I also have I have the Grogu Funko Pop on the shelf there.
Oh, that's cool.
You can just barely see it.
Yeah, I think I can see that.
But yeah, it's on there. I also bought a couple of. I don't remember if it was for. No, it wasn't for Christmas, but it was like, yeah, it was in October or maybe or November when I got the Grogu Funko Pop and a couple of vintage collection action figures. I got Supreme Leader Snoke, and
that's right. I remember you showing me then.
And Yak Face.
Yak Face.
Yeah, they're on the shelf there. and I hope someday I'll be able to get. There's some new figures that were revealed yesterday. I really want to get the new Ahsoka and the new Maul from the Clone Wars
Same here.
In the vintage collection.
That's on my bucket list.
Yeah, there's so many action figures that I'm missing out on, due to the fact that they just don't show up here in Geneva, Switzerland. They're just so hard to get, and online the price is a bit too, it's just a bit too high, when it includes shipping as well. And a lot of figures are hard to get, and also I'm out of a job, so I don't have as much I can't really afford as much as I would like when it comes to collecting more action figures. So that's taking a bit of a break here, but seeing as the new Ahsoka and Maul action figures from the vintage collection are coming out like in July, that will allow me enough time to put something on the side and save some money for them to get them when they come out. If I still want them by the time they come out, that is. Yeah.
Them new stuff in the vintage collection, they do look cool, and I've got a few items on pre-order, so I can see they've got any new stuff. As well.
I have the Black Series Asajj Ventress on pre-order.
Now that looks cool. That looks very cool. That's a cool figure.
But other than that, the collection is still pretty much the same.
Yeah, same here. I've made a few additions to my collection. Obviously, I've reorganised the little Mandalorian shelf down there. That's just behind me there. As I said, I've got some new figures on pre-order that should eventually be arriving soon. Other than that, the collection is fine. There's going to be some new stuff coming on the channel when I get the time.
I've seen your reviews on the Mandalorian, the two different Mandalorian figures that came out recently. Which version do you prefer, the battle damaged one or the clean one?
I like the clean one.
Yeah,
I love both. I love both of them, but the battle damaged one, it's just great because it comes with Grogu and the little ice machine and the Beskar. Even like the little Beskar, the tiny details, the Imperial logo on it is breathtaking. It's truly remarkable. But fingers crossed, we get more vintage collections, like the days of vintage collections.
We're supposed to get Grogu in vintage collection separately.
Yeah, that's right. I've got that. I need to pre-order that. There's a couple of figures I want to pre-order, that and Grief Karga. So I'm going to hopefully do that in the next few days, pre-order them on Star Action Figures. They're a very good online retailer if you haven't checked them out. If there's any more comments to come through, please let us know. If not, let's just talk for a few more minutes and then we'll wrap it up there, Adam. But as I said, if you've got any more comments, let us know. If not, let us know once the stream has ended. So the Mandalorian season 2, obviously, like I said, fantastic series there. What they've done, so many good moments. Obviously, big reveals and everything. And as always, thanks Fran for coming on by and streaming alongside with me. Because obviously, like I said, we bounce off each other well about Star Wars, and fantastic season nevertheless, really. But I hope things go well for Star Wars, and I think if they just knuckle down as usual and take the right precautions, they'll be all right, really. But other than that, Just wait and see, really. More figures and more stuff, really. That's what I want. I
Amen.
can't complain. I can't complain.
Mm.
What else is happening? Let me just quickly check something. Nothing else there. Like I said, if you've got any more comments, please let us know. If not, we'll be ending the live stream very shortly. Apart from that, and before we do go off there, how is your channel doing? If you want to let people know, how's things going on your channel?
So the channel is doing pretty all right. It's still pretty inactive, but I'm still working on an animation on the Lego Batman The Last Laugh animation, and I hope to get that done and out there by either late February or late March, and then after that, I hope to move on to different stuff. Maybe make some Star Wars animation. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But yeah, the channel's doing pretty all right. It's going a bit slow, a bit inactive, but it's still going strong. Short, slowly but surely. Yeah. How is your channel doing, man?
My channel's doing fine.
Yet?
I'm nearly at 800 subscribers. Nearly
800. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's been really, really good. Obviously, the journey on YouTube has been good so far. Views have been going up recently. Comments as well, which I can't complain. Like I said, I've got a few more bits to review from the channel. We'll be doing a collection update eventually down the line.
Wow, 3 more subscribers, and you're at 800.
3, wow.
3 more subscribers to 800, guys. Let's make this happen. Come on.
Yeah, make it happen. Come on, it'd be great. But no,
get this guy to 800.
No, I'm really enjoying YouTube. Like I said, it's a community that is good. It obviously cares, and obviously I've met so many great people on there and everything. And hopefully in the future, when certain events keep on going strong, we can meet up and have a good old chat. So such as Star Wars Celebration, Comic Con, and any other stuff where Star Wars fans like myself and Alan, who have briefly spoken to YouTubers around the world who are known for their Star Wars figure reviews in the universe and everything like that, we can meet up and have a good old laugh and good old chat with them, really. So fingers crossed that goes there. But no, the channel's slowly but surely doing all right. Things are fine in general. Obviously, by the time of filming the last live stream back in May of last year, COVID-19 was sort of starting off and everything. It's been a bit shit elsewhere in different parts of the country and just different parts of the world. But I think as long as people are keeping safe, it's fine. Yes, it is harsh for people and everything, i.e. mental health and struggling for work, but the best thing is just to be together. I wouldn't usually talk about this on my YouTube, but I just thought I'd just send out a message to people who are in a moment where things are right and things are wrong, and hopefully this live stream and Star Wars can bring joy to you and just take you away from it, really. So yeah, just wanted to really say that really to people out there. And when hopefully COVID-19 eventually does end, fingers crossed, they can go back and go, oh, remember that live stream when they were talking, or remember that they were talking about that. So yeah, nevertheless, so yeah, that's pretty much it for the Star Wars Conversation live stream of episode 18, The Mandalorian Season 2. I'd like to thank you, Alan, for joining me as always on my live streams.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me.
As always, mate.
Always a pleasure.
Always welcomed.
Always
and
a pleasure.
Hopefully, when new stuff comes out, we'll be back on here on StreamYard talking about Star Wars. And yeah, fair credit to StreamYard as well. Great streaming service, and shout out to them as always. Before we sign off, Alan, you mentioned YouTube. Obviously, that's where we can find you. Where else can we find you? on your social medias?
So if you're interested in anything, I do, be sure to check the channel Oak99 on YouTube. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter. And that's all the relevant platforms you can find me at. I also have a Discord server if you're interested. It's called the Oak99 community. You can find your way to there via the YouTube channel in the About section. So if you're interested and if you want to interact with people like me who enjoy Star Wars or pop culture, collecting, etc., we tend to interact in voice chats pretty much every night and play Among Us every now and then. So by all means, feel free to join the Oak99 server. But yeah, Jack, again, thank you for thank you for having me on this live stream. It was a pleasure. It was fun as always.
Alan, you're more than welcome. And also be sure to check out Alan's merchandise as well. There's a link there as well with t-shirts and stuff. That's very cool as well. I might have to purchase a t-shirt.
Get yourself your Oak99 mask today.
I'm thinking of getting a t-shirt as well, mate. So yeah,
get your t-shirts, your hoodies, your pillows, your bags today. You know,
get everything.
Get everything. Get the entire stock. So where can people find you, Jack?
You can find me obviously on YouTube as Jedi Master 98. You can search it up and you'll find me there. Obviously, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. Links are where the channel art is and everything. And yeah, on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to myself and obviously Alan's channel. Great content, great passion for Star Wars, and overall a decent channel to be a part of and to enjoy. So yeah, again, thank you to Alan for joining me in this stream. Thank you to everyone for commenting. If you do forget to comment, like and subscribe. If you do forget to comment, then let us know a comment in the comment section. And like I said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed The Mandalorian Season 2 as me and Alan. And from myself, Alan, and little Grogu here, may the Force be with you. This is the way. Please, please, please look after yourself and enjoy Star Wars and enjoy Baby Yoda and Grogu. May the Force be with you guys. See, Alan's spoken. See, he's spoken. From myself, Alan, and Baby Grogu, we'll see you on the next stream. Thanks, guys.
Take care.